On a Monday morning, do not listen to that song and think that you should go out and kill people. It happened to a friend of mine, Charlie Manson. Giant mistake.
You guys are friends?
Well, pen pals. We write back and forth to each other. It's the Bennington Show on a Monday. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Yo.
And I am Ron Bennington. And this, of course, is election headquarters. And we will be getting to Trump v. Clinton last night. And I'm dying to see what the ratings were for that, because Trump couldn't have brought more fun stuff to the beginning of the show. And I don't know whether that hurt football or not last night, but the time before the debate was 100 times better than the debate. It was just crazy.
Yeah, it was pure spectacle, and he's a showman is what he is.
He is P.T. Barnum, and it's great. Also, just a thing for Bill Clinton. When you find out that the chicks that you allegedly either sexually assaulted or partied with or whatever seem no longer fuckable to the general public, it gets more and more difficult.
Yeah.
You don't want to see a bunch of old ladies saying, grab my tit. You know, at some point, Bill should have just held up pictures of them in '86 going, look, when I was there.
Like, it's a very different situation.
Not that Bill looks fuckable anymore, but
no.
you know where we're coming from. All right, so we'll get to all that. But good news, we're going to announce a Unmasked coming up. What's the date on it?
That is Wednesday, October 19th.
Wednesday, October 19th. Did you want to say it, Gail?
No, he seemed like he was searching, so I went to help him.
Why don't you say it, too, so everybody gets a chance?
It's Wednesday, October 19th at 6:30 p.m. at SiriusXM Studios.
And let Vito say it once, too, because I want you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know what it's like when I bring home the ice cream. I want everybody to feel like they're part of the excitement.
Wednesday, October 19th at 6:30 p.m.
No, Vito, I'm going to tell you this, and I don't normally say this about an Unmasked. I'm a little concerned about it, a little apprehensive, because this is not only going to be an Unmasked of this gentleman, this could very well be an Unmasked of Mr. Ron Bennington himself, because this is a guy I know, as they say in Jersey, from back in the day. You know, back in the day.
From back in the day. What day?
Do you realize that they use that as if it's a historical way to measure time? Back in the day.
But people will say back in the day for their own childhood, but they'll also say it about the Middle Ages.
Ancient histories back in the day.
So back in the day.
Back in the day, Jesus had a lot of trouble with Judas. Because that guy was a rat and a backstabber. So this Unmasked, and you can go to the interrobang.com to pick up tickets, is for an old buddy of mine, Mr. Tom Rhodes. Tom is the most traveled stand-up comedian of all time. Like when a lot of guys say, I got to go on the road, they're talking about Iowa, Missouri. Rhodes is Thailand, China, Vietnam, Pakistan. And I don't mean on a USO tour either. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing, you go out and do a USO tour, and there's a bunch of young Americans who are glad to hear jokes. I'm talking walking in and fucking doing stand-up for local people. And some of the funniest comedians of all time love Tom. David Tell thinks Tom Rhodes one of the greatest stand-ups ever. Who else? Well, we're going to put him in something else that we're doing soon, Chris. Some of the great comics that he's worked with.
Oh, yes, we are, yeah.
Say what it is.
Oh, for the Mitch Hedberg, Life and Comedy.
Thank you. So he's got a ton of stories about other people as well as his own crazy stories. But I remember years ago, this had to be early 90s, Tom did a Comedy Central thing. And here's a little known fact for you, a little fun fact. Look up, Vito, when I'm telling fun facts. I want you to seem like it's exciting. First person ever signed by Comedy Central.
Really?
Yeah. And he did a special out of Vietnam for them early early on. So his stories are great because he's not only worked but partied with some of the greatest people of all time. Tom Rhodes, Unmasked, Wednesday, October 19th at 6:30 at the SiriusXM studios. I'm going to find myself on my heels dancing, moving around to try to keep myself out of some of these stories.
Yeah. This isn't your Unmasked. You shouldn't have to deal with that.
Because I have kids now. And what are my children supposed to say? That's why Trump talking about grabbing that pussy was so difficult.
For the children.
For the children. As the father of 3 beautiful little toe-headed girls, 5, 3, and 1, when I heard him say that, luckily for me, I don't have any Muslims, blacks, or Latino Hispanics as children, so I don't give a fuck what he says about them. It's the little ones.
I do like that it gets put in terms of, you hear a lot of politicians came out and said, as a father with daughter, I have a mother, I have a daughter. At no point have I ever heard a woman have to empathize with a man like, I have a dad and a couple of brothers, so this really gets to me.
Knowing the fact that I have a son made me realize. Now,
that murder's wrong.
Rudy Giuliani went out just carrying his water, battling for him. Giuliani was wacky hilarious all weekend. But my favorite thing is Giuliani like this. He was actually just said, grab the pussy. He wasn't talking about fingering it or banging the pussy. Unlike his opponent, who apparently has been with women himself. It was fucking crazy weekend.
It was
I felt like I was drunk all weekend long.
Now, Chachi was on one of the, I think he was on CNN.
Chachi Arcola?
I believe that's his full name.
Yeah, it is.
So Chachi was saying, first things first, ladies, get over it, was his first reaction.
Good, smart.
And then the next thing he said was, ladies, this is no different than the way you talk over a glass of white wine when you're with your girlfriends at brunch. Well, first of all, nobody drinks white wine at brunch.
Is that right?
That's
I didn't know.
You're combining two female cliches and you've just put them into one thing. When you drink white wine in pairs in the bathroom. But he's actually right. Because just the other day I was saying to my girlfriends, when you're a co-host of a SiriusXM show, you can do anything you want. You just go up to guys, finger them in the butt. You just stick your finger right in the butthole. They won't do anything.
Who are you telling that to? Billy Bush?
No, just my ladies over some white wine at brunch.
Yeah, Billy Bush, one of the ladies.
Those are my gal pals.
Billy Bush will turn into whoever he's talking to. That's the thing.
Right.
So he's normally a guy who only works to chicks. That's his demo. Right. And the New York Times actually had a thing today about Billy Bush being suspended. That the Today Show holds their co-host to a higher standard than the Republican Party does their nominee. Now, Chris, you were just telling me Paul Ryan is out?
He's out. He no longer wants anything to do with Trump.
Now, did he ever do anything with Trump?
I believe he did. He did support him at some point.
Yeah, he reluctantly. It took a while. Then remember, Trump had to go win his support. Remember, that was something we discussed. Like, Trump acted like he didn't care, but then Trump did ask for his support, and I think he reluctantly decided to support. And now he's taking it back?
Yeah. No, he's not. I don't think he's taking back the support, but he's saying he's not going to campaign for him.
Or defend him.
So please don't ask me about Trump.
Yeah.
So that is kind of not supporting, but really not enough to say we're not. Now, MSNBC has this up. Clinton opens up an 11-point national lead in a NBC poll, which I don't believe in at all.
No.
11 points is gigantic.
Yeah, that's kind of huge.
That's That would really be out of control. Here's a little fun fact. 62 million social media interactions last night. The iBang has the comedians. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you this and see if you can guess the comedian. At least Trump is explaining to us what tweeting means. One of the better things is when he was saying, I've got 43 million followers on both Facebook and Twitter, which was great. But here's what he needs to be honest about. You can't add Facebook to Twitter. No. Because they're the same people.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of overlap of people who just have to...
And he didn't bring up the number of bots, which I know from interacting with a lot of comedians, when we book them and we say, go ahead and put this out to your own people, somebody will have 2 million fucking followers and
no action.
We're the ones that have to fill the goddamn room for them.
We want no active users, Donald. People are interacting.
I don't even know if you could ever measure that, can you?
I think some like internet companies can, but I'm not sure.
I doubt it very much. Because you can see somebody, they'll have 350,000 fucking followers, and then they get 18 retweets. And you're like, that doesn't seem...
It doesn't seem like that makes sense.
Yeah, but it just seems crazy. I'm going to act my age here. I don't believe in social media.
You don't
Dan
think it's
St. Germain is the guy who did that one. Actually makes me feel bad for the real Republicans who are surely horrified by this sideshow clown. Wow.
Ooh.
Should I just give it to you? You want to guess?
I'm going to go Dan Soder.
Tom Segura.
Oh.
I don't see Dan Soder as a debate person. The real winner of this debate, anyone who went short on the idea of shared American dignity. Hilarious line. Who do you got, Chris?
Patton Oswalt.
Butterly. Tim
Butterly.
Butterly.
Butterly also made a really funny joke last night regarding when he kept saying she acid washed the emails. So he was just calling it acid wash email dungarees.
Well, I don't even understand. I'm sure she wasn't the one who acid washed it.
She went through individually, deleted all of them.
So when you delete things, you're not really deleting?
That's what I've always heard, that there's like there's a
cloud.
There's a small amount of that information still left. So if you actually delete something, it's still kind of there. And you can still fucking, and then if there's deep, I guess there's programs that could like scan your deleted files and then show that they're still there.
That's not the fucking purpose.
That's not what a delete is.
Yeah. You shouldn't trust anything that you delete off your computer.
Can we get some kind of super delete?
Well, so the guy who said grab him by the pussy is accusing someone else of having hate in their heart. This is one of your favorites, Gail.
Let's see. Is that Joe List?
That is Dave Hill.
Nice.
Here you go. I want to represent all Americans. The shifty Jew, the lusty Mexican, and the rhythmic, magical blacks.
I remember this one from last night because it was so funny. That's Patton Oswalt.
That's Patton Oswalt. I only eat clean coal. Bonnie McFarlane. Please, Donald, please, oh please, say that you respect her pussy. Please, oh please. That's the hilarious Paul Provenza. These are fucking great. All up on the iBound. This says, Trump said, I respected Hillary is absolutely not vulnerable, and she still shows up. That's Sam Morrell. This one, in the beginning, Trump proved that he just can't apologize for anything. But let's face, Trump easily won that debate. Who's that?
Nick DiPaolo.
Close, Artie Lang.
Oh, very close.
And I say close because, you know, the right-wing guys need to be fucking represented.
Yeah.
I admire Donald Trump's mortality. That's our own Barry Crimmins.
Yes.
Oh, you knew that one?
I knew that one. I remember. The amount of people tweeting last night, like it was so fun going through Twitter while watching the debate.
Right here. Hillary, we won. Trump, we won. America, we lost.
Oh, that's heavy.
Yeah.
It almost seems like a Patton Oswalt.
Well, it's a very close one because I consider this person to be a young Patton Oswalt in a way. Mike Birbiglia.
Oh,
Mike
see?
Birbiglia. Looking for something beyond the laugh.
A deep guy.
Is there a strong bias on the part of the moderators for Hillary Clinton in this debate? And then he gives us two responses as yes or hell yes.
Would that be Anthony?
Close. Very close. Pat Dixon.
That is close. I think I should get a 0.5.
At one point, Trump said to them, what is this, 301? Which is fucking so hilarious. A lot of the sniffs came up. And if you follow this at all, you are... I dare anybody to show Trump sniffing when he's not in a debate. Ever.
Yeah, I don't remember him giving a speech all the times that he's been standing.
Never.
I don't remember him being so sniffy.
Here's what I believe, and I've told you before that a debate, it just doesn't make sense to me, particularly the town hall debate, which a lot of times we forgot that it was even a town hall. I hate that they say, you people are invited to watch this, but you can't clap or laugh or applaud. Keep your mouth shut. Then don't have people.
Right. You also, they say they have undecided voters on the floor, but then they have decided voters in the balcony. So that's where you're getting the reactions from.
And quite frankly, probably employees of each side.
Right.
I mean, who else is getting those tickets? People who either gave money to their campaigns or work for their campaigns. So it's all fucking dumb. Just do this in a studio.
Yeah.
It's that simple. All right, here's the thing. So I don't believe that Trump debates anybody in his life. I think he tells people what to do and they do it. Same with Hillary. Same with any alpha dog out there. I think the sniffing is not nerves. I think the sniffing is rage. He's fucking not used to people disagreeing with him. And that is like a bull. You know what I mean? Just think of him as a bull ready to fucking charge.
Well, his physicality last night was very discussed, and it's still being discussed this morning. The pacing, and then the constantly being just in her frame every time she was talking to someone over her shoulder, and oftentimes like with this kind of like intimidating stance over her. And I saw
there's no doubt he could beat her ass in a fight, and that never comes up.
I think that she could tell too, because you could feel like a little bit of like tension in her shoulders. Like, he's right behind me, isn't he? Is he right behind me right now?
He's there.
But yeah, I saw the press kind of swarmed her afterwards, and one of the things is somebody right away was like, could you tell that he was right? He's right there. They were like, did you notice that he was behind you? And she's like, oh yeah, I could tell. He was right behind me. And she was kind of like, she wasn't going to fully joke about it, but she was kind of laughing like, no, I assure you, I was very aware of his physical presence.
I'm gonna just say this. He reminded me as when I got to wait for my chick at the store. That I just can't stand there. You know what I mean? I'm walking around, fucking doing, I can't believe this is happening.
He was pacing a lot, and then there was like a lot of this like move that he would do on the back of the chair. Like he was ready to just start doing push-ups on the back of the chair. There was just like a lot of tense energy.
He was juiced up the entire night.
He really was. He was really, well, we had the big press conference beforehand that I think that, got him all jazzed for it.
Well, he was also just pissed over that pussy stuff. He's fucking furious that he has to answer. He's furious he had to apologize, and he's furious he had to bring shit up from 11 years ago.
Yeah.
When he and fucking, he and Billy Bush were just out there bad dogging on the road. Yeah. That big old fucking access bus.
Just like a kid, you know what I mean? Like a young buck, just 60 years old.
Young up and comer.
haven't really learned right from wrong yet.
59. It's locker room. And then, of course, Hillary couldn't believe he brought those broads with him. And I guarantee you, the Republican Party, who You know, they're the ones. I mean, 18% of the people in Congress or whatever, there was a thing of that. They're not supporting him. That's a gigantic fucking number when before that it's been zero.
Yeah.
Not supporting their candidate. I mean, the news was pissed today that it wasn't 57%, but 18% is a gigantic number. So it's a very weird time. It's fascinating. And then there were some people saying today that Hillary played it really close to the vest last night. I mean, she did not play to win. She played not to lose last night.
She was cautious. She kind of let him do his thing, which, you know, there's pros and cons to that because there were plenty of times that I think people were going, you're not going to hit him back on this after he just said.
Well, I mean, first of all, I disagree. I think you go out to win everything. I think, you know, she could have had the knockout last night and she didn't go for it. But there are people saying that she definitely doesn't want him off the ticket. She doesn't want this to suddenly become a Pence thing, which I don't even think is possible. But it's all just so fucking bizarre. It's a bizarre. I mean, I know we say this every 4 years, but this is the weirdest yet.
This is definitely the weirdest yet. And this in particular, this debate, I felt, and I don't know if it's because of the way social media is now, but I've never felt like more people were watching something political like this. It just felt so intense.
Which I guess is good. You know what I mean? You want the citizens, you know, out there paying attention, expressing themselves. The Republicans are stunned, and some people could see this as a positive. Trump doesn't seem to have a single Republican view on things. The fact that he says that's something Pence and I do not agree on is unbelievable. That's never been said in history, that the vice presidential hopeful and the presidential hopeful aren't on the same team.
Yeah, and then he says we don't talk, right. Or we haven't talked. And then she doesn't swing back on that. I think that was one of the ones where everyone was going, come on, you got to at least...
Well, there was plenty that she did not go for the juggler, and I give him credit. He was out for it. All right, we'll get more to the debate stuff and take people's calls and stuff like that. But, Gail, a little while ago, you brought up on a guy on Instagram who you like to follow. Mr. Brocco Hearn.
Yeah, Brocco. Brocco is he's a social media god. He became kind of well known. People started to pick up on the fact, is this the most attractive man on social media?
Some people say in history.
I mean, if you look at him.
By the way, Chris puts up the worst picture I've seen of him. Why would you turn it off while I'm setting this up? You can see that he's being casual, not tight in that picture. The hair is not the thing.
Yeah.
But here, you know what's
Why
great?
would you go looking for his worst picture?
Because look, I used to have long hair, and it's just all about the hair with this guy.
What do you mean? You're going to compare yourself to Brocco?
Well, it's also not just hair. It's the body. It's the lifestyle. This is the thing, Chris, that you don't realize. His lifestyle is he's going out into the world and he's not just posing.
Yeah.
He's posing in Hawaii. He's posing in Africa. He's jumping off waterfalls. He's at giant, oceans with giant waves.
He's great with kids. He loves animals.
There's a couple of the pictures up there. It was just him interacting with some wild boars, him holding, looks like war orphans. I don't know where the money comes from that. Now, Vito, you're a workout guy, right?
Yeah.
Where do you put Brocco in this?
Dude is awesome. He's a total dreamboat. I'm so excited for him to come in. Dude is ripped. I can't wait to talk. I want him to talk to me about working out.
What?
Vito, like a fucking idiot, just gave away the bit. Gail, in a couple of moments,
what?
Brocco Hearn is going to come walking into this room.
Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding.
Get out of here. Get out. Stop
He
it.
is outside right now, and I can't believe how tall he is.
I can't even turn around, please.
He is standing outside, and he looks fantastic. Let's bring in Gail's Instagram dreamboat, Brocco Hearn. Brocco Hearn in studio with us, and Gail.
Oh my God. I cannot believe. I feel very punked right now. I feel very punked. And I feel like this is something you tell a lady a day or 2 or 3 beforehand. This is not the kind of surprise a lady likes.
Brock, first of all, I don't know how. I'm going to play the old guy here. I don't know how somebody becomes an Instagram star, but you completely blew this up.
Yeah. I guess you just start posting photos.
That's it? There
much,
wasn't any grand scheme behind this. Here's how you pull this up. You were just posting photos.
I mean, I try to learn it as much as I possibly could, but social media, there's no way to really gauge how it works. It's not like a normal job and you work 9 to 5, and all of a sudden you get the promotion. It's like you keep putting stuff out there and hoping one thing hits, hoping something goes viral, one thing after another, and it ended up just working.
But you didn't have a marketing company, a marketing mind behind you?
Yeah, no, it's just myself. I just tried to learn what worked, what didn't, what people like to see, what they didn't want to see. I posted all kinds of things in between.
Every entertainment company in the world tries to pull off what Brock did on his own. Everybody is attempting to get out there, and the fact that you just did it organically is kind of mind-blowing.
And it seems like it was like a 0 to 60 thing. Like 1 minute I didn't know you existed, and then the next minute everybody is talking about you.
I mean, that's good news on my part, I guess. I'm doing something right.
How are you all over the world? How are these pictures being taken? I see it with an African kid. I see wild boars on the beach. I'm trying to figure out how this turned into your life.
What's the travel budget?
I think I'm still trying to figure it out myself, to be honest with you. Yeah.
But you travel everywhere.
Yeah, I love traveling. I travel where work brings me. I travel for vacation. I travel with friends, all kinds of stuff. I mean, when it all started really taking off as far as social media and all that stuff too, I started getting invited to Germany for different events, getting invited to GQ events was amazing. And then I started going to Switzerland, went to Australia, went, through Canada, everywhere. And
it's amazing. I can't tell people how difficult this is to pull off. What he did just to become your own business like that is phenomenal.
Now, not only do I check your social media very often, but I have listeners who tweet me pictures of you. Like if I say I'm having a rough day, they're like, I know the solution to this. Queen Elizabeth is constantly sending me
Well, that's what happened. Someone tweeted me having a rough day, so I decided to come in.
Now, this is tough. Chris, you're normally the dreamboat of the show. You're the good-looking guy.
Thank you, Ron.
And first of all, Brock, how tall are you?
I'm 6'7".
6'7". Chris, what are you?
6'1".
Okay, that's almost a midget, in my opinion.
I feel dwarfed by Brocco.
You know what? The way the world has changed too. 6'7". First of all, you wouldn't be 6'7" and good looking. You know what I'm saying? It's like there used to not be quarterbacks that were 6'5". When you were born 6'7", it was like, oh, this is a mistake, and what the human being can look like. You used to say, oh my God, I feel sorry. But now you come in and you dwarf everyone else. And then the other thing is, I don't know what you're doing for hair products, but the hair is unbelievable.
I appreciate that. I'm actually just waking up in the morning.
Nothing. You're not doing anything.
I don't do anything yet.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Vito, you're a workout guy. Nothing seems to work for you, though, right? Vito, how big are you?
I'm 6'3". I'm somewhere around 300 pounds.
Come on, be honest.
Which side are you on?
You haven't seen 300 since 8th grade. You're a really big guy. And you work out every day?
Yeah, I work out at least 4 days a week. I try to do 5.
Brock, he works so hard to look like that. That's the sad. I mean, he really does.
He does work hard.
Yeah.
He does try. He only has one cheat day.
What should he be doing right now? What should Vito do? What's his secret?
I mean, it's just about being consistent, like what you're doing. I think maybe watch a big key factor is diet and cardio, to be honest with you. 2 things I don't like to do, to be honest with you. But just stay consistent, yeah.
Yeah, I usually start with cardio.
Shut up.
Perfect.
You guys are on the same level then.
Like you're 2 fellas together.
Just broing out.
Yeah.
And now you're doing this thing with Tyler Perry. Here's an interesting thing. Just like I was saying, that you made your own kind of audience. Tyler Perry's done that comedically. There's no one in history that has pulled off the fact that he didn't go out and get a piece of the audience that was out there. He got people who never went to movies to go to his movies. He's phenomenal at exactly the same stuff we were talking to Brock about.
Even before that, with theater. I mean, that's really what it got started with. Yeah. He built an audience.
Church ladies.
Yeah, exactly. And he was writing plays, and it was not plays for your average, theater goer. It was people who never showed up to theater before, and I think that was like this very inclusive thing.
Yeah, you're in his new movie, Boo. Medea Halloween. Boo. It's hilarious. How did you hook up with Tyler? Is this the same way? Is this...
it was actually, believe it or not, through social media. I had, someone had shown me him. And someone had showed me to him, actually. And then, I guess he had just dismissed it until it happened a second time. And he's like, okay, I need to see what this is what he told me. I need to see what this is. He gave me a call and I could not even believe it. I thought I was being pranked or something like that. Asked me what my interests were, what I wanted to do. And I told him I've been working on getting into acting, and, he offered me the role, basically. I got the audition and nailed it. Yeah.
See, I mean...
It's crazy.
There is this perfect wave coming together for Brocco Hearn. And this is my thing, Brock. I think this is what works for you. I think people wish that if they were stuck on an island, it would be with you. Because you look like... You could cook things over an open fire, build a shelter.
You seem resourceful. Is what we're getting at.
You could kill a shark, pull it in.
But nurse a wound, too, which I think is great.
I can do all that.
Someday we'll find out that, really he's bookish, I believe. Right. Are you bookish?
What do you mean by that?
Well, do you read?
I love it. Yeah, actually, I brought one of my favorite books with me on this trip. I was reading it on the way over. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Oh, yeah.
I love that book.
Self-help book takes place, and actually a real traditional. You're starting to annoy Brock. There's starting to be a place where it's losing any kind of fairness at all. What's that?
There isn't any fairness. I used to have hair like Brock. I would say my hair was better than Brock's.
No.
I would believe
it. Get out of here.
Find a picture of you when you had long hair, because you kind of did blow it. After that,
there definitely was a natural grease to it. I'll give you that.
That's mean.
No, I'm saying it's like it had built-in product. I'm saying it's a positive.
And Chris looks like he could help you survive in Astoria, Queens. Like he knows where to go there.
Where all the good sandwiches are. You have good qualities too.
Yeah, thank you.
Where to get weed at 3:30 in the morning.
I got all the phone numbers.
And you're also on TLC, Too Close to Home. Yeah. How did that work out for you, too?
Well, that's also a Tyler Perry film. He did that with TLC. It's their first scripted drama they've ever done. It was a segue, I guess, from the movie, and Tyler saw what I did, liked what I did, offered me a chance to audition for that as well. And I got the lead in that. They just got one thing got better after the other, I guess.
So when you started to do this, you had no intention of parlaying this into an acting career? Or did you think...
I did.
You did?
Yeah,
you were
I definitely
hoping,
did. I was focusing and trying for years to get into modeling, being really tall. It's tough. Focused on getting into acting. That was really tough. And I want to segue this into eventually... obviously continuing down acting, but eventually down to directing, producing, writing my own stuff along the way.
See, here's the thing about Brock. He's working, but you can't see him do it. He's ambitious, but he's ambitious on the beach.
It's very
in the gym. You can't see him doing this. It's like a magician. In the back, we're looking at one thing and he's moving around doing other stuff.
I do like that about your Instagram, because then I'll be looking and I was like, a day or two later, I'm like, this is a different beach. This is a different country. You go from one beach to another.
Well, he's Thinking and Growing Rich. Now, you're reading a book, too, Vito, Think and Grow Fat. What is that? All right, this is a picture of Chris's hair.
Oh, come on.
When he had it.
Amazing.
You're about the same length.
Yeah.
You had everything going.
I mean, look at natural curls towards the bottom.
Why did you cut it? It didn't make sense.
Well, I was inebriated in Montreal, and it was hot out, so I figured I gotta get rid of this hair.
Yeah.
Tell me you regretted it right after.
Yeah, I was all whacked out. Well, no, there was elation at first. Then you look into a mirror like, oh my God, it's gone.
You had the hair, and that's not even a good shot for, but you had the hair of an American Indian. Like you could have been an American Indian chief or medicine man, and you blew it. You literally blew it. Now you just look
like the pinnacle right there.
Yeah, it is.
7 years.
And like that, I think about it sometimes. I think about cutting my hair short, but I am convinced, I actually think that I will lose my powers. Like I'm thinking, your power is like your...
all the time, right?
Yeah.
That's the number one fear, isn't it? No, actually, I grew up with long hair my entire life, and then junior year, and I grew up surfing, skating, all this stuff too, and so my hair was always...
you did.
They were so good at that.
And so I almost got sick of it. I was like, I'm tired of this getting in my way. It's hot, all this stuff, kind of same thing.
Yeah.
And I buzzed it. Summer and junior year, and halfway through I looked at myself in the mirror. I was like, "What did I just do?"
Right.
So after that, I went through my whole senior year like depressed. No, I wasn't depressed, but it was like I was sad about it. Obviously,
bad senior year.
Yeah, exactly. It could have been a little better, but then I grew it out after that, and it's been long since.
Where'd you grow up?
South California. Yeah.
So you were at 6'7". You must have gone through some awkward growth spurts, right?
Gosh, yeah, until I was like 19.
Right.
I was awkward as heck. Yeah.
That's the funny thing about it. There's always like an ugly duckling thing when you're the tall guy. Because all of a sudden 1 year between 8th and 9th grade, you grow 7.5 inches.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I think even if you grew up with some kids who were like attractive when they were young, they always end up goofy later.
Yeah.
Like you're better off going through awkward years
Go through the
young.
struggle early on.
Right.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people when I was younger, they were just gorgeous, that they're not on Facebook now. You know what I mean? Like they have to keep the mystery there. Right? Like Tom Bill happening. It's still happening. Don't see me now. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I'm still cheerleading, so.
So you found out about him through Instagram, Gail.
Yeah.
Did somebody send it to you? Did it go viral that way?
I believe, there was somebody, it was like a website had written an article that was saying that maybe it was BuzzFeed or something like that. It was like, is this the most attractive man on social media?
What do you do when that even comes up, Brock, if someone says that?
Thank you.
Here's the deal about him, too. Brock has this little smile. He's just easy with everything. He's just... The weird thing about him is he comes off like a guy's guy. For somebody that the women like, this seems like a dude that guys would hang out with.
Yeah, because it's a swing in that direction of, I think, women, masculinity. There's like... The beard thing is going on right now. It's the peak, I think, of pro-beard time.
Well, we went through a metrosexual time, and this is in the opposite direction. And yet, the stuff that gets sent around the most is him being nice to a baby, him being nice to a puppy. Right. You don't look at him and say, here's an evil 6'7" man. You're like, oh my God, that's so sweet. He likes babies and he likes puppies.
Strong and kind.
He's thinking and growing rich. He understands how to directly get through to people. Boo, a Medea Halloween comes out in theaters next Friday, October 21st. And Too Close to Home airs Monday, 9 o'clock, 8 Central on TLC. So on Twitter and Instagram, it's at Brock O'Hearn. And that's your actual name, Brock, or is this?
No, it's really my name. Yeah, I get asked that all the time, too.
Yeah. It's all too damn perfect. It's too good. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. This was such a crazy surprise. I can't believe it.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you next time coming through. Best of luck with everything, too, dude.
Thank you
Seriously.
so much. Appreciate you guys.
What a nice guy, huh?
Oh, my God. What a sweetheart.
Vito, why would you give away the surprise, you idiot?
I can't believe you did that.
I never want to ruin anything for Gail.
You just ruined it.
I'm not happy with myself.
Do you imagine if I would have turned around and saw him?
I know. We were lining it up so he was going to walk into the room and tap you on the shoulder.
Oh my God.
Now, by the way, Chris, you've been working on this since the first day Gail brought it up.
Yes. Since you brought up the sexiest man on Instagram.
So I was going to have you talking about Brock O'Hearn. He was going to walk in and tap you on the shoulder, and you were going to turn around. Not only that, but Chris was going to video it. No! So he's all ready to do this. And then Vito, and I'm stalling for time, and then Vito said, I'm so stoked to have him come in. This is, I believe, the worst thing that's ever happened in the history of surprises.
Oh, my God.
That's so terrible.
Yeah, but I would have mortified myself.
I don't think you can mortify that guy.
No, I'm mortified myself.
Don't worry about it.
He's tall.
Yes,
he's 6'7".
Yeah, he's okay.
I don't see a lot of people that much taller than me in real life, so it always freaks me out.
Oh my God. All right, the Queen just said, I bet Gail Ann is ovulating right now.
She very well could have gotten pregnant from him just walking in here, as well as one of the guys.
Okay, here's something I would not have expected, seriously. Like, the laugh and his, like, smile. Like, are you kidding me? He's a very
fucking good dude.
Like, he's
really
attractive, and you could be like, oh, like, it's just like... But he's, like, there's something very charming about him.
Well, even... not only is he charming with you, but he was charming with each guy.
He was.
Like, he'll look over, he'll give you a smile, he pulls his hair back.
Yeah.
That should be the new world's most interesting man, not this other fucking doofus from Spain or wherever he's from.
He's like a weird, like, Italian dude, I think.
You know what? The thing is, he's attractive. Yeah, he's tall. He has a great body. But sense of humor is, like, number one.
I think he's good in the room. You know what I mean?
I mean, he's a great sense of humor. 1. 2, he's really smart. And then the other stuff is just icing on the cake.
I'm reading my favorite book right now, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. That was
I
so
love it.
fucking adorable.
He is so cute.
Yeah. But I'm not kidding and I don't want to call someone, but in the old days, if you were 6'7", you would have been a monster. You know what I mean? Just like guys that are 6'5" wouldn't have been fucking quarterbacks the way they are. Now, if you're not 6'5", people are like, this little shorty at 6'2", can't see over anybody's head.
I like that you were saying that you would be like, I'm so sorry that your son is so massively tall.
And I'm sorry he doesn't fit into things, and his knees don't fucking close properly. Vito, how did you blow the surprise? How?
I guess I just got excited.
But this wasn't.
But this isn't about you at all.
It wasn't about me at all. But I fucked up and I ruined it for Gail, and I'm never gonna forgive her.
It's one thing. Wait, it's one thing to say you ruined it for Gail. You ruined it for Chris, who's been putting this together for 5 weeks. I mean, everyone knows Gail doesn't like Chris.
No.
And this was going to be
dislikes me.
Chris's way.
This was his redemption. Look, you couldn't have ruined this for me. This was insane. I never in a million years would have thought that would have happened.
But we wanted to capture that moment.
I understand.
We wanted to capture you seeing him, like the way you want to capture a 3-year-old when they see Santa Claus. And that's always like the cutest thing. You don't want to say to a 3-year-old, in a minute you're going to be excited because Santa Claus is over there. It's a man in a Santa Claus suit. You want to go see the man in the Santa Claus suit? Now, Vito, I'm looking at you and you look like you don't even feel bad about it.
Do you feel bad?
No, I'm saying that jokingly because he's crushed. But you're crushed from your own stupidity.
I need to get smarter.
To get smarter is the saddest thing.
Gail, I'm sorry. Chris, I'm sorry. Ron, I'm sorry.
Well, first of all, there is a way to say that you're sorry that everybody will accept. You hang yourself with a belt.
I'll do it.
And when we come in here and you're just hanging off the rafter, I'll like, look, buddy, you don't have to apologize anymore.
Oh, come on. Get on off of there.
And then you take a knife and you stab a note into your chest that says, do you know what I'm pissed at, right? I called him Brocco at one point.
I know that's my fault because I affectionately call him Brocco.
And then I had the fucking had the Hearn and it sounded stupid.
It's my fault. That's like my little nickname for him in my mind, even though I don't know him.
Do you feel like you know him now, though, right?
I do. I feel like I know him. He was so sweet. Like, he immediately, when he came in, he saw, it really was like a little kid seeing Santa Claus.
Right.
Because he, like, could tell from my reaction that this was for me and came up and just, like, gave me this big hug, like, it's me, Brocco, your friend.
Your imaginary lover.
My lover. Brocco, what are we going to do on this deserted island? You're already building a shelter?
Where did you find salad?
I hope we're never rescued.
Yeah. You see a ship in the
salad.
You see a ship in the horizon and you're laying down so that they can't see you.
Holy shit.
And then fucking, well, little do you know, fucking Vito shooting off flares and bringing them in.
Vito, get out of here. You're ruining this for me.
You know what your part was in this, right? Just not ruining it. That's all you had to do. You weren't calling for him. You weren't keeping Gail distracted. You just had to say what you said before, that you want to look like him. You wanted to work out like him. Instead, you're like, I can't wait till he walks in here and surprises Gail.
I wish even my reaction to that, because it was just confusion.
You weren't confusing.
When you first said that, I just thought you meant like
in a month
to
or
one
someday.
day, and I'm like, what a weird thing to say. And then when I looked at both of you and the
we
fury,
were just furious,
and like the just pure anger on your faces, it turned to joy for me because I realized it was true.
Because this video, you'll never look like Brocco. Every day should be a cheat day from now on.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, everybody.
Here's our buddy Pit Doc.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
I was wondering if Vito was in there to squeegee down Gail's chair or not.
Oh, Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Well, let me ask you something, Gail. When he was talking, and I've never seen the guy, but he sounded very, very erudite. He sounded very good. Did you put your fingers up to his closed up and say, "Shh, stop talking"?
No, he didn't come off that way at all.
I didn't say that. I felt the opposite.
I felt the same way. I felt like a really good dude. And there are plenty of those big, tall, good-looking guys that are dum-dums. But he seemed like a really sweet, fun guy. And like I said, he's like a dude's dude. You know what I mean?
He really is. He's very masculine.
Yeah, we went out, drank a couple six-packs, smoked a couple joints, me and Brocco.
He has the mane of a lion. I mean, he has a lion's mane for hair.
It isn't. When he said, I just wake up in the morning, he wasn't kidding, because it's not perfect hair.
No.
It's this.
God damn it.
It's looks like wind
blown.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, there's like ocean salt, seawater in it.
But I really do think he could have gotten the role of Groot or something like that, too, being that tall.
He's on his way.
I mean, he also rocks the man bun like no other. I mean, you know, I know a lot of people they act like they don't like it, but if you see it done properly.
If something works, it works.
Particularly if you're a fashionable guy and you're like a masculine dude, like Brocco. By the way, my chair squeegee is private and I don't want people to talk about it.
And you know, when you're supposed to be her doctor.
I know, that's my doctor.
He can lose his license for that.
Brocco plays a guitar, too.
Of course he does.
Wow.
Starry nights. He's just playing guitar under the stars. Oh, my love, my darling.
He supports gay marriage.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, that was the no hate.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't keep up with all the meme stuff.
He loves memes. Well,
I'm glad that you're giving us all this visual on a radio show, Chris. You're on top of it. What is he there? Is he jumping out of airplanes? Looks
like he's snowboarding right there.
Of course he is.
It's on a motorcycle right
there. He likes extreme sports. So.
Of course.
It's like he's just doing art right there.
There he is. He's saving some children when the school was on fire.
You're so brave.
You think he set the fire, though?
No.
Dude, why would you even say that?
I mean,
come on.
You really did blow it. Jeremy, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Yeah.
Hey, in sixth grade, I pulled what I hear everybody nowadays is calling a veto.
Yes.
And ruined a surprise birthday party for the teacher across the hall because I had missed the day before and no one told me why her students were bringing presents and hiding them in our room.
Oh, God.
And I asked her, why are all your kids bringing presents into our room?
The other kids beat you up for that?
Oh, I definitely got some, it was more the girls than anything. I got a lot of hate from the girls because of the surprise ruining.
Yeah, that is, I mean, right now, I don't think that Gail's furious with Vito.
No,
but
it's more about you, because it's really not the person you ruin the surprise for. It's the planner of the surprise. Like when I had a similar thing happen. So a guy friend of mine ruined a surprise party that all of her girlfriends were throwing for her.
Yeah.
And, you know, you send out like there's like Facebook invites you can make for a party or something.
Yeah.
So it was sent out and he says to her, hey, I'm really sorry. I can't make your birthday party. And she's like, I'm not having a birthday party. And he's like, yeah, the one that you sent me, your birthday party. And he shows her the invite and she has to say, yeah, at the very top of this, it says, this is a surprise party. Do not tell her. And he's like, okay, so this would be the first time you're hearing of it? She's like, yes, it's a surprise party that you just ruined. And she wasn't mad, but we were furious because we had been planning it for so long.
Absolutely, yeah, the person doesn't. This happened to me when I was younger. I had this girlfriend, and her parents and grandparents came to me. And they wanted me to act like I was taking her to the shore, and then the whole family would be there. So the whole thing was lined up. They had already booked these rooms and all. So they said, look, Ron, can you just do this? And her whole family was there asking me at the same time. And I'm looking and I go, wait, that's the same night I'm taking her for an abortion. Could we do this? And they're like, what? And I fucking ruined the surprise.
Oh, damn.
You know, this is going to be the worst 16th birthday of her life. And it was, because it was the only one. There he is with a rescue dog.
Oh, my God. I, too, have a rescue dog. I wish I would have told him.
Well, we could have brought Birdie in today. He probably would be teaching Birdie how to do tricks right now.
Could you imagine a picture with him and Birdie together? Both of their luxurious locks? That
is if Vito didn't step on Birdie's legs.
Vito, you stepped on my dog's legs!
How did you fucking blow that, dude, really?
I had to be lied to about my mom's 50th birthday because my whole family thought I was going to ruin that, too.
So it was a surprise for you, too.
Yeah.
It's just like her birthday, but also he's standing next to you going, this is great.
I was told it was my cousin's birthday, and then I walked in, and they were like, happy birthday, Leslie. And I was like, wait, why didn't anybody tell me? And they said, because we thought you'd ruin it.
They were smart. They obviously know you better than Chris does.
I think Ron is a bit smitten with Brock O'Hearn. Let me tell you something. The day that you meet your future son-in-law.
Oh, my God.
What am I saying? Son. Why would I? There's Bill O'Reilly talking about his new book, Killing the Rising Sun. Gail's grandfather's reading that book now.
Really?
Well, he was part of that time and place when, Japan fell. He knows what it feels like to have been in the South Pacific for all that.
Island hopping.
Yeah, you make it sound like it's a fun thing, but...
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not the same as, like, say, Japanese... bar hop. It's not like tiki bar hopping, which it kind of makes it sound like that.
Is there a better bar than a tiki bar? I don't know why anybody could act like there was.
A friend of mine just had a birthday at a tiki bar, and we all had as much fun. Like, it felt like all of our birthday. I was drinking a very sugary drink out of a giant fish head. And I was like, well, this feels so festive and fun.
Now, there's two things that, and this is, again, to tie in with World War II. That's when those bars came back there because those boys went to the South Pacific, got drunk in those bars, and then decided, I'm going to open my own in Brooklyn and Iowa City and Chicago. But that, I believe, too, the end of World War II, is how the Hawaiian shirt came back to America that those guys bought Hawaiian shirts, I love
Right.
them, and brought them back as presents and stuff. But the Hawaiian shirt to me is the funniest fucking shirt of all time because it looks exactly the same today as it did in 1945. There's no other fashion that has stayed in that moment. And there's no time since now in 1945 you couldn't put on a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, you can be a Hawaiian shirt dude in any decade.
Any decade.
Like any decade. And might I say, the Hawaiian shirt, I think, is great on women because when you tie it up like this, you look like pinup girl on vacation, which is always the best look.
That is a good point, that you suddenly make it sexy by pinning it up and showing the belly button. So Paul Ryan's just saying, I'm not going to defend Trump. Don't ask me to.
Or campaign for him. He made that distinction as well.
That's a nice picture. Now, you guys do you feel that he might be a little too tall for you?
No, I mean, like, we're not that much different height-wise. Probably.
What?
I mean, he's like a little taller than me, sure, but you want that in a man, 2
feet?
What?
Almost. I was surprised at how tall he was. I know the dude was ripped, but Jesus Christ, 6'7's huge.
6'7", it goes to show you, like when you're watching basketball, everybody's 6'7" at the minimum, right?
Yeah.
Like Michael Jordan, I think, was 6'6". Brock is taller than Michael Jordan, but when you see 6'7" in real life, it's so rare. It's a rare fucking thing to bump into somebody who's 6'7".
Yeah, it looks crazy. Because you look down the hall, you see him walking among other people. Yeah. It's not like when you see, oh, you're a tall person. It's like you're on another level. You're like...
Do some next level bullshit. Tom Rhodes is our next Unmasked. Will this actually be an Unmasked of Ron Bennington at the same time? I'm going to try to make sure that it's not. You may see some stories come up where I go, hush, hush, Tom. Zip it.
So this is your table.
This must be your wife. This is your lobster.
And these are your pants.
The way he's taking off his trousers, so obnoxious.
I was right. Do you remember we went to that restaurant? It was very exciting. It looks exactly the same as that movie.
Yes. There are certain Florida restaurants that you can walk in at 3:00 in the afternoon and they are incredibly dark. The original buildings in Florida had no idea how to take care of sunlight. And so they built those things exactly the same way as if they were building a restaurant in Detroit in 1964. Right. There's no expanded thing. But a lobster restaurant is always hilarious. There's no lobster restaurant where you're like, oh, well, this is nice, isn't it?
Not a restaurant just happens to maybe have a lobster special tonight. If they focus on lobster...
You're a lobster restaurant.
It's got to be hilarious decor. It can't be normal. They have always
There's
silly
lobsters that you can see while you're sitting down to eat.
Giant tank.
Does that turn you off? Is it like a...
It's not pleasant.
Yeah.
I mean, I see that they were alive just seconds before. They were steamed while they were still alive, by the way.
It does make me uncomfortable, but it's even worse like the people who are overly comfortable with it. Like people are like, ooh, I hope this one's mine.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, now you're taking it too far. It's bad enough.
Poor bastard lobsters just crammed in.
The other thing about lobster is when you focus on just lobster, just the main lobster that you slap down,
right.
And then they give you a bib because it's such a sloppy look. Vito's still rubbing his face. He is not getting
not
out of
over
this
it.
painful moment.
He fucked it up.
But so you have that like, oh, this is going to be a sloppy fucking meal. You're not just getting the tail or the claws. You're digging around that other thing. So you're saying to people, is this edible or is this the poop? But there's no real sides that go with lobster.
No.
You don't say lobster and I mean, the best that you can do at a certain time of the year is you could have corn on the cob.
Yeah.
But where are you getting good corn on the cob in February and fucking March and all that? The other funny thing is, that was somewhere near Clearwater Beach. Those kind of fucking lobsters aren't in Florida. A Florida lobster is completely different than the kind of lobster that you have. So they still have to ship them down from Maine.
There's usually most lobster places tend to stay with that old school, just like frozen side vegetable.
Terrible.
It's just so depressing that you're like, this, you know what, just leave this in there.
It's
just,
nice
I don't need
that
this.
you're trying to give me a potato pancake and what looks like pieces of carrots and lima beans together.
Yeah, it's always like a mixed green, a frozen mixed green.
Right.
You're like, oh, forget it.
And that's the same place. That restaurant that we're talking about is the same no matter where you are in the country.
Yeah.
That dark wood lobster restaurant, and where the woman comes over, the waiter, you guys ready for your lobsters? I was like, yay! Lobster.
I'm going to dip this steak in the lobster butter.
We have a surf and turf that is available, and that costs your entire paycheck, whatever it happens to be. I don't care whether...
You have to show your pay stub.
Yeah.
That's the price.
That's, well, yeah, you look down and then it always says, like, they don't give the pay... They don't tell you what the
market
lobster
price.
costs.
Yeah,
it's the market price, which they're deciding after you order. Let's just say $72 for that lobster.
No, I think that in the case, this has always bothered me because I know that people are uncomfortable when they see the MP. They want either the lobster or the fish special, but they don't want to ask. Why don't they do like a little paper insert, like in a playbill when you have an understudy and you're like, oh, this person's not good. Give us a paper insert so people don't have to be embarrassed and be like, so this MP, tell me what the damage is.
They could ballpark or give like a range. Like on a bad day, this is what it could cost. On a good day, you might get away with it.
Well, that would be really depressing because then you're like, I'm going to come back when this is
but here's the
less
thing.
fresh.
Let's suppose it went from 57 to 85, right?
Okay.
If I'm 57, I'm feeling a little queasy about it. Because there's something... Look,
I would rather.
These are some old lobsters. I'm going to let you have it for 57. No, fuck it, 45. Because I think you're going to be shitting tonight.
Still can't pass it up.
Fellas, we got your steaks and lobsters here. How's that look, fellas? They always say in the old New York restaurants, they'll always say either guys or fellas to you. When you go to any of the old steak places in New York, there is no waiter younger than 96 years old. Fellas, calm down. What are we having? Steaks. How do you want your steaks? That's it. No one assumes someone wants a piece of chicken or some fish. How do you like your steaks, fellas?
I like those old school places where it's like tablecloth, you know what I mean? Like old school tablecloths with the cloth napkin, and then like the guy still pulls your chair out if you're a lady.
Right.
Doesn't happen anywhere else anymore, just those really old school places.
I always like, too, if they're wearing an apron, like I'm also butchering the cows in the back. I'm wearing this old apron. You know, we've got the big Bennington Christmas party coming up this year. Last year's is unbeatable. Chris went in the hospital.
Yeah.
But with you not drinking this year, we're probably going to be a little more food-based.
All right.
Interesting.
Party-based. So you guys can start thinking, is it an old steakhouse? Would you like to do a sushi room that we take over with no shoes on?
I've never done that before. That could be really fun.
Would you like to go to a shooting gallery and everyone does heroin together? We
can put that on the short list. Sure.
This will be the first year that no one embarrasses themselves at the Christmas party because everybody else was passed out. And we're going to be making the Thanksgiving announcement very, very soon.
I can't wait for that. We had so much fun last year, and I can't wait to do that one again. I think it's our best event.
Well, it is the most, our Thanksgiving is the only thing that makes sense because we're all actually really thankful that night.
Yes. It's like a real, there's a lot of love. It's a big family gathering.
There was a post. Well, I don't want to give it away. I shouldn't give it away. I don't want to do it, but I want to make these two guys laugh.
Okay. I know what you want to say. I've been thinking about it since you showed. Yeah.
Oh, no.
There was something we put together. Somebody's putting it together for us. That Chris and Vito look so much shorter than me and Gail that you would swear that we were the Bracco family.
And I just thought, I see nothing wrong with this.
No, not at all.
You don't think I'm too short for Bracco, right? I
think you're probably too short for a ninth grader.
You don't know how often teenagers ask me what school I go to, like, what's up, where are you going? And I'm like, you are a child, and I could be arrested for talking to you. No, but like, what grade are you in? Because I'm older than I look. Dude, not in a grade.
Me and this buddy of mine, when I was a teen, we were taking a car out west, let's just say. And something was in the trunk. So we're somewhere in the middle of the country. We meet these two girls at a motel at the pool, and we're fucking around with them, and everything's going great. And we're on top of the world. And this girl was explaining to me that she was a senior, and somehow, obviously, because of my young age, I confused it with being a 12th grader. And when she figured that out, I saw a look of horror in her face that here I am with someone 5 or 6 years younger than me, when that is 25% of a life. And I pulled what was then known as a veto and ruined the whole fucking thing for me and my buddy. And she's like saying to her friend, we got to go. This shit is weirder than we think.
When I was traveling with my friend and we were in Rome, there was this really, one night we were out, we were in the piazza, we're drinking wine. These two guys are talking to us. We're hitting it off. They're really funny. They're sweet. And then this kind of parlays into like them getting kind of like, whoa, we should like go back to your place. And we're like, nah, I don't really think that's where this is going. And then finally one of them says, we're locked out of his parents' house. And we're like, when you say parent, you mean that you live with your parents? And I was like, we need to get the fuck out of here right now. I'm pretty sure we've been talking to 16-year-olds all night. We need to go. Like, we just really fucked up.
We're really drunk. Hey, Jason. Jason, what's up?
Yeah, as far as the old Darkwood lobster restaurants go, you're a Philly boy. What about Bookbinders down on South Street?
Bookbinders was way above my place in the world. Bookbinders was, when I was a younger kid, the only restaurant that you would take someone to impress them in Philadelphia. So every day on the Mike Douglas show, every week, he would be like, my co-host this week is Kirk Douglas. Kirk, we were out at Bookbinders last night. And I would say to my mom, can we ever go to Bookbinders? And she was like, what are we, made of money? That's Bookbinders. What are you, crazy? I'll make you something nicer here. And I'm like, I just want to hobnob with the staff of the Mike Douglas show. But if you would have timed yourself in those days and said you were going out every Monday night at Bookbinders, the chances are very good that you would have seen the celebrity of the week that was co-hosting.
Oh, that's very cool.
Well, because Mike Douglas did his show out of Philly, so it was difficult for him to get guests. And they came up with the idea, let's get a guest and keep them all week. And like these would be my most exciting weeks, is if like Carlin or Billy Crystal or Bill Cosby was co-hosting, because you'd get a comedian every day.
Yeah. That's
at fucking
awesome.
4 o'clock. You're like, this week is fucking set. And then other weeks, like, it's Rita Moreno 5 times. You're really going to be a struggling week for me. Bruce Davidson is back. John Davison. Bruce Davison would have been fucking great all week. But I always thought that was funny. And, Jimmy Kimmel tried to do the co-host when he first started the show.
Really?
Yeah, I think Snoop Dogg was his first co-host that hung around for a week or 3 days. And they found out pretty quickly Jimmy's no Mike Douglas. Well, one of the greatest of all time is he had John Lennon co-host with him. Mike Douglas had John Lennon for 5 days.
For a whole week?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And what would be cool is like you would let your co-host book some of his friends. That was another thing. So it'd be like Abby Hoffman's going to be here on Wednesday. Thursday is Chuck Berry. You know what I mean? Just like people that John Lennon liked.
Yeah.
And we're glad to go do it. But if you got a Rickles all week,
you're set.
Oh, every day at 4:00 would just be laughs aplenty. Well, I'm having a grilled cheese. This is amazing. Tom Rhodes is coming in for Unmasked as my co-host. October 19th, 6:30 at the Sirius XM studios. So you could actually work and still show up for this. But this is going to be a lot of our old school Florida stories. And it should be a blast. Go to the interrobang.com, theinterrobang.com to pick up tickets. This is going to be a very, very busy month for us leading up to our Thanksgiving show.
But you're right, I hadn't thought of it. He is liable to accidentally unmask you. He has a lot of
Maybe I should be
stories.
open to it. Maybe this is the time that Ron admits the truth. Yeah, I do keep a knife in my boot.
Oh, wow.
Is that weird? It's a bloody knife.
Whose blood?
My victims. Did you guys watch your Westworld this week?
I did watch Westworld this week. And by the way, I also really liked that strange Westworld moment that happened during the debate when Hillary Clinton had the fly land on her.
Yes.
And I was like, it's Westworld!
I noticed that too.
It's the same thing. But yeah, I watched it because I think HBO Go put it out a day early for people who didn't want it to, so it wouldn't compete with the debate. So I actually got to watch
the Packers game.
Yeah. There's a lot going on.
What'd you guys think? Did you like?
Yeah, I think that they were wise to kind of slowly reveal, because I remember at first we're like, we want a little bit more explanation of how the world works and the way that things happen, but I think it's good that they're kind of letting the exposition go kind of slower.
I agree. I thought they were too fast in the first episode.
Yeah. But I think it's a really scary, kind of riveting show. I'm excited about it. I'm into it.
All right, you know the good-looking guy who in the first episode you thought was a real person?
Yes.
Yeah. He, I have a feeling, is going to become buck wild when this thing finally turns. I think he's going to become a real leader of this because he's being treated like shit as a robot.
Yeah, he's really getting used and abused.
Yeah.
Him and all the, prostitute ladies are going to be a big force.
That's true.
Because they have all these what are kind of suppressed memories, and they say that they're not able to access them, but they're accessing them.
It's like Chris said, nothing is truly deleted. Nothing.
Right.
It's all still there.
Because what they're even remembering, as sometimes they were explaining when instead of decommissioning something, they kind of change the storyline, they change whatever. So their memories are past storylines that they were involved in, particularly ones that are highly disturbing or violent or,
every robot in that town's had something violent happen to them. People are just killing things randomly. So everyone's gotten shot in the head or tortured.
Right.
Every single robot is a torture story.
Well, why wouldn't they? That's the whole reason that you buy into that.
Yeah. So the point is, and I think they're kind of explaining it. So the family-friendly Westworld is the center of town. And as you move outward, the storylines can become a little bit more heated.
But also, I think you're going to find out that when you're in family-friendly Westworld, a lot of shit happens anyway.
Right.
Like the kids are probably being mean to them, or dad waits till everybody's in bed before he cornholes the local barber. Like, I don't think. Let's put it this way now. Would you ever, like, listen to a story and hear about a nice slave owner? Like, I'm sure there were slave owners that are nicer than others, but we still would find that sickening now.
Right.
You know what I mean? We still feel like, ooh, your family owns slaves. I think that's the way this comes across. But I also think, that anybody who plays video games or even watches movies, if you really think, when you're watching a movie, that, let's say Reservoir Dogs, that cop is stuck in this Groundhog's Day of every day. Every time it's turned on, he's re-going through that. If you look at that captured thing as something different, even from the actor, that when you capture something on film, that becomes real, a real experience for that character to go on over and over and over. How is that any different than the way that you could look at life and go, here's a life, look how people are victimized?
Yeah. It's when you feel like you have control of things, but maybe you don't, and we have the illusion of control, but factors are happening constantly in the universe that are going to affect you one way or another, that nothing you can do can veer off of that course.
And there's that Nietzsche thing where he believed that we relive the same thing over and over. Now there are physicists, people who are studying quantum physics, that says, yeah, that is a possibility, that this life that feels new to you, there's an infinite number of times that you've lived it exactly the same. And your choices have never been a choice.
Yeah.
Never. So Chris putting that pen in his pocket, imagine that he's done that 10,000 times at the same time, where he thought, I need to put this pen somewhere. But no, he's drawn to it.
Yeah.
I mean, just think of how many, I remember, and I think I've told this before, one of the things that annoyed me most in life was being told that animals do something by instinct when I was a little kid. I just couldn't imagine that something is driven. It's not their choice at all to go back to where they were born and lay their eggs. You know what I mean? Whether it's birds or fish or whatever. And if you think of a bumblebee and they go around and they're pollinating these fucking flowers, and without bumblebees, the earth would maybe be gone. Like, they may be the thing that keeps this planet going. But they have no pride about that. They don't think, I've got to take care of these flowers. They don't even know why they do it. They fucking have to do it. And they would die trying to do it.
Yeah.
There was this, when we started to build major dams in this country, no one would understand that some of these trout would just slam their bodies against the dam, attempting to go upstream so that they could spawn in the exact same spot that they were born. So they started to build these steps, these waterfall steps, to let these things climb, jump, to move to this thing. They couldn't fucking stop themselves.
They're obsessed. They're crazy. I think of that.
But maybe we all are.
So when I take my dog out to go for a walk and she has to shit, most of where, you live in a city, most everything is concrete, but then there's going to be places that she can go with grass. She obsessively shits places with grass, and I have to think, is there a part of her mind, like, she will hold it until she gets to a spot with grass. Now, could it be that she likes the texture on her feet or whatever, but she thinks part of what it is that she's probably fertilizing something and not realizing that that's why she's drawn to do that.
Interesting. But anyone could, particularly anyone from an addictive personality has obsessively done something over and over. Is there greater purpose to that? We don't know. The fact that you love your children or your family feels like it's a choice.
Yeah.
But maybe it isn't at all.
Have you heard of this thing where the idea of cute, like what we think is cute, we feel like this is our opinion, but really you are programmed to not only find like a baby, a toddler cute, big eyes, they look all like, it's the same reason that babies of other species are cute to us, is that part of us is like, have mercy on me. So if you see an abandoned baby of another mammal, part of your instinct is drawn to like help it and think, oh, it's so cute, I don't want to hurt it. And that's part of its survival, is to be cute, to appeal to other mammals.
Particularly other humans, since we moved up the top of it. But yes, the fact that we find a vicious bear or a vicious panther's babies to be adorable and makes us want to nurture these man-eating beasts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's part of their...
Fucking wild. So these things that we think are choices are not at all. That's fucking nuts.
We're no different from the machine.
And I'm talking about heaven, hell, God, the devil. You know? Like, we all find Trump to be cute. But why?
Why? What is it about him?
That hair.
You just want to tussle his hair, pinch his little orange cheeks. He's cute.
He's adorable.
He is so cute.
I wish I had a little Trump for myself.
And he says the darndest things.
This is the funniest thing about Trump. As soon as he was told, I admire the way you take care of your children, you saw that he liked Hillary. Oh, yeah. He will like anyone who says something nice. That's why you can't say something bad about Putin. Putin said something nice about him. And Trump's central thing is, if someone doesn't like me, I attack. If someone does like me, I'm nice to them. And he doesn't take that personal. Immediately last night, he says, what I admire about Hillary is her fight. Now, he tells us most of the time she has no energy. And then last night, he admitted she's relentless.
Yeah.
She's a fighter. And what he's saying is, she's like me. She's combative.
Yeah.
She'll do anything to win. I mean, that was a mind-blowing moment. And the funny thing is, like you were teasing earlier about Trump having the disposition of a young guy. He really does. I mean, even his ambition is the ambition of a 22, 23-year-old, not the ambition of a 70-year-old man. He's a warrior. You know what I mean? He's a warrior, not a medicine man, not a wise man. He's still the same place that he was as a young man. So for him to say, I really admire that about her, it was like one of the most telling things about him.
Yeah. And you did see the moment where he had pride on his face when she said, I think that, if you look at his kids, it must say that he is a good father. And I think that that's something you saw him like beam when she said it. He really did.
There's nothing you could say to people nicer than something about the kids that they raised.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There is a thing that if you really want to impress somebody, do something for their children. Again, it's also a reflection of you, like, oh, you did a good job with them. But there is something about those kids. You could see, even after the end of the debate, they were concerned about their dad. They went to make sure.
Yeah, there was this really strong moment at the end of the debate when they just finished up, they shook hands, and Hillary's first move was to move outward to the people she just spoke to, and she goes into politician mode, and she's shaking hands, and she's looking them in the eye, and that's one way to be. You look over at Trump, and immediately he goes to his family, and his family, circles around him. Yeah, kind of in this very protective way. And I'm not even saying one way is a good thing to be in the other. It's just interesting that what they decided was the comforting or the best thing to do in that moment. And they surrounded him, and that says a lot about him. I think he really does surround himself with the people who will care for him, who will tell him, you've done a good job. This was a difficult thing. You got out of there. Great job. Whatever.
Yeah, you could see that they were like, hey, are you okay? You did well.
Right.
There was a thing with Eric Trump last week when somebody was asking him about Pence. And he's like, oh, no, he did very well. He did very good for the family. In his debate, the Trumps see themselves as the party, not the Republicans. They see this as, the Trump party. And that's a fascinating, wild thing that a lot of times that people who dislike Trump miss, because for some reason, and we go back, maybe it's just pure biology, but we think there's nothing better than a family that stays together. It always kills me if someone says somewhere, like on stage, I've been married now for 43 years. The audience will immediately clap
break.
as if, why does that mean anything to people? And yet it does. We want to think that families stay together, that marriages stay together. No one's ever going to applaud, I've been married 7 times, but for 43 years.
Kind of good.
But there's nothing worse. I mean, it's not a worse way to live your life.
No.
There's nothing wrong with...
But it must have something to do with the fact that we seek that out. For whatever reason, we have chosen monogamy as the norm, and we're taught that from since we were a child. So when we're applauding, it almost seems to say, like, I hope that's me one day, or like, that's a good thing. We should all want that. Mm-hmm. It's more about what that makes us feel about ourselves.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts. I remember people in my neighborhood, if they had a family business when I was a little kid, I used to think that was the fucking coolest thing ever. I don't know why. I don't know why that seemed like...
A family band is a cool thing. That you're
the
like...
Partridges, you mean?
Yeah. You're like... You stuck together, or you learned a trade, or whatever that thing is. Yeah, there is something really great about it. Well, because that's how things were up until only very recently.
Yeah.
That is how you got your job. You got your job either by, your own parent and learning their trade, or maybe you apprenticed for someone else. But that's pretty much the only two options.
Well, Chris, when your family gets together, the fact that they can sleep on one single bed, all of them.
Well, that's just me, Ron. Just me.
I've never met another person who doesn't have a living relative.
Mm-mm.
I mean, you would have to be the victim of an Indian massacre in the 1800s to say, I don't have a single person.
I'm a fucking Westworld robot, Ron.
You almost are.
You really are. What would his storyline be? Town drunk?
Town cornholder.
Town cornhold.
I like it both ways here in Westworld.
The mayor of Philadelphia was very disappointed in Saturday Night Live that Jimmy Fallon couldn't pull off a Philly accent, particularly when he's next to somebody killing a Philly accent.
Yes. She kills it. She's from that area. It's so funny.
She's an Upper Darby girl.
She is an Upper Darby girl. But yeah, he did such a bad job and didn't even really commit, which was really frustrating.
It was frustrating.
But I will say, and I don't want to already bring up this very sore subject, but it was decided yesterday by my boyfriend that the reason that the Eagles lost is because Jimmy Fallon jinxed them by trying to do a shitty accent.
I am not kidding when I say it went through my mind at one point yesterday. I go first Fallon, now this?
Yeah, he said it was a disrespect, and he feels like his terrible attempt to do a Philly accent jinxed the team.
I'm actually mad. I was mad at Tina Fey for not nixing. I mean, I understand you're Saturday Night Live, you want to have a big star like Jimmy Fallon drop in, everybody goes crazy for it. But why wasn't she saying, this is my sister-in-law from the Bronx?
Yeah.
She's down in Philly for the week.
There's a very easy way to fix that, because these characters are made up. So you can decide where they're from. You can't be like, you got to nail this accent.
Chris, do we have it? You know it's up on the iBang?
Yeah, I'm bringing it up.
Takes you that long though, huh? Oh, boy. No, for some reason, it's the only fucking computer in the world that nothing works on. And it takes forever. Never mind. I don't want it now. But the other night, SNL, the Stranger Things sketch was really fucking cute.
Yeah.
They pulled that off. I thought Colin and Jost were great together.
Colin Colin. Oh yeah.
Colin
Che,
Jost and Che.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought that they had a really
their best
strong
chemistry ever. Now they had, real meat on the bone with that fucking,
of course,
grab him by the pussy line. But they were cracking up as they were doing it. It was a pretty good show. And that promo was from Bill's Burgers when I told you guys.
Yeah, I saw that. So that's where.
Well, I didn't recognize Hamilton with his beard shaved. I'm like, I don't know. I go, there's the new girl from the show, but I don't know who that other dude is.
And it was
Hamilton.
How did you feel like Hamilton did?
I didn't pay that much attention to him.
Yeah, I didn't focus on him too much.
People might get mad at me, but I think nothing has ever impressed me about Hamilton because I feel like there's 900 guys that are better fucking rapper than him, and I feel like it's Schoolhouse Rock.
It really is. It's
when he was doing the thing last night.
It was kind of tame,
right?
It
bored me immediately. Bored the fuck out of me.
I did like this sketch that was singing by the campfire, and they were singing Footloose with this it's just like one of those really bizarre kind of sketches that normally they say for like a late night sketch, but that was them singing like Footloose, Footloose, and it's just like, how are you putting that this early? Well, it's shenanigans.
The weirdness of Footloose is there's no dance teacher who will ever tell you a loose foot will help you become a good dancer. As a matter of fact, it's just the opposite. You want good, strong ankles and good footwork. Not loose feet. Like, you just don't want to see
them around.
Yeah, the feet just slapping down, whatever they're doing. Chris refuses to tell us to take a break today, but we definitely have to. Unmasked. Me and Tom Rhodes, October 19th, 6:30, Sirius XM Studios. Be there. Go to the iBank for your chance at free tickets. Right back, Bennington.
It's like a 140-character live journal. It's hashtag Bennington. Tweet it.
Yeah, buddies. It's the Bennington Show on a Monday already, October 10th. Crazy weekend. Like you said, your Eagles had their first loss. Vikings still won and won big. Who else is undefeated out there, Chris?
That's it. They're the only undefeated team. The Vikings are 5-0.
No one else is undefeated.
Really?
The Broncos lost. They were the other undefeated team. They lost to the Falcons, who also lost once.
Now, that's when you guys were so bummed yesterday, Gail. I'm like, you're not going to go undefeated. And that was the kind of loss that a bad team doesn't have. A good team has a loss where one fucks them up.
Right.
True. So they never should have got rid of Bradford. He's taking the Vikings to the top. They will be undefeated this year. And they will win 19 games and become the most storied team in history. All they had to do was get rid of AP, and everything worked out for them. That fucker was holding them back. There's no way I'm believing this NBC poll that Trump's numbers are that bad.
So what they're saying, that dropping from, what is that, 30?
Down to 35%. They're saying that Hillary's at 46 and Trump is at 35%, and then the other two bumps. Some of these poll numbers are crazy.
Do you think that's from the debate?
No.
Do you think that's from the weekend?
I think it's from the weekend.
Yeah.
I don't think the debate, I think that takes a couple days. And also, I don't know if the second debate is as important as the first debate and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I laugh at nothing more than an undecided. I feel like you're just trying to get on TV. If you're an undecided.
Yeah, give me a break. I mean, there was one particular one. It's like, I'm a Muslim American. You're undecided, ma'am?
A Muslim woman.
Very much. Very much
You're on the fence
undecided.
right now.
I'm an illegal Mexican immigrant, and I don't know. I really have to tell you that there's a lot more than just me being sent out of the country that is of interest to me. Trump continues to do good in my demographic, white men.
Yeah, solid.
I call it the white men looking backwards. That's where I live right now. I'm constantly thinking the past is so much better than the future. The future can eat me.
How can we
get past was great.
Back to this?
We had the Flintstones. No one ever brings that up. The first Star Wars before Eastside Dave ruined it. Did you finally get around to watching your pal Star Wars?
Yes, I watched the Star Wars.
What's your review?
I think Dave's acting was on point. I was really surprised.
Full committal.
Why were you surprised? Everything he's ever done has been on point.
He commits wholeheartedly.
He fucking carried your fucking dumbass for many years on that sports show. Beep boop, beep boop, beep boop, beep boop. That fucking R2-D2 fucking was the funniest part. And at one point, R2-D2, I think he just goes like, "Oh, hi, Pat." Fucking cracked me up out of nowhere. That's up on the iBang if you want to go and check it out. Our good buddy Eastside Dave kicked the shit out of George Lucas and did it up right. The Star Wars, by the fans, for the fans, fanboy culture, nothing better than it. So much stuff, but here's one of my favorite things that happened. You do the booing lady, your impression of the booing lady, and then someone sent this in to us, probably TR. There is a booing lady who actually sounds exactly like your impression. Too difficult to get to, Chris? Or we'll do it another time? I'll go to Hard Rock Johnny. Now my fucking computer's eating, asshole.
Ew.
Yeah. Why is that ill? I mean, that's just a way of living. Hey, Johnny!
Hey, Johnny.
Oh, my God. First of all, Vito, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Vito's a fuck-up.
I mean, he really is. But you know what? You can't rain on my parade today.
Why don't you tell us what Vito told you during the break?
So I said to Chris just as we went to break, Chris, did you tell Vito that you were surprising me with this booking?
Yeah.
And you said, yes, I did. Yeah. And then I ran in and said, Vito, did you know this was a surprise for me? And he said, I never knew that. I never would have spoiled it if I realized it was a surprise.
Is that true, Vito?
Yeah, I had no idea what was going on today.
So you felt like you weren't told by Chris?
Yes.
So, Chris, admit that. Apologize like Donald Trump, and let's move on and start talking about policy.
I told him that. It was his fuck-up.
But why is he not agreeing with you?
I don't know why. Because he feels bad, and God forbid he looks bad in Gail's eyes.
Yeah, but look he's already feels bad enough. I think he would be willing to say, "Oh my God, it just slipped my mind." He's not trying to dig his way out of this. He's telling the truth. That's his problem. He's a truth teller.
I told him it was a goddamn surprise.
That didn't sound very convincing. Did you hear that little laugh in his
by you?
That little laugh in his voice.
The thing is, when he goes, "Oh, I was surprised. Dave's a good actor," made me feel like he didn't see it. No one comes in with that lack of passion about something that they actually saw. And in this case, Vito has the passion that he didn't know.
Yeah, he felt terrible.
He's still a dope, but he doesn't know why he's a dope.
Yeah.
You, on the other hand, Chris.
Yes.
Just admit that you fucked it up and then we move on. It's fine.
I know I told him it was a goddamn surprise. I know it. I know I told him it was a surprise.
You sound like you're lying.
Yeah, it does sound. And like that, remember that little laugh when he was mid-sentence?
Right.
It really sounded like, of course I told him. I didn't buy it.
Johnny, I don't want this to fuck up your phone call to us today. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I can go with the flow. It's fine. Vito, did you feel worse with that or when the Mets lost?
Maybe we don't have to keep throwing stuff on me right now. I feel bad enough as it is.
Johnny, are you done with the Eli now? Is it time to move on? Is it time for
bring in whoever else you'd want as a quarterback?
I mean, how long has he been Giants quarterback?
13 years.
Too long as far as I'm concerned at this point.
All right, but you don't have the even thankfulness to a guy who brought you 2 fucking Super Bowls.
No, listen, I honestly, I don't think Eli's the problem. I don't know what the problem is. I think somewhere Tom Coughlin is sitting laughing, saying, "Ha ha, you wanted to get rid of me. Look what you're stuck with now."
It's no different, though. It's not like it was better with him.
It really isn't any different. It's the same stupid penalties, horrible game planning. I don't get it. I actually.
What do you pay for your tickets?
don't even want to talk about that. Waste of money that just gets 6 tickets a game. You might as well just fucking burn them at this point.
6 tickets a game. What's it cost you? $600 a week?
Maybe a little more because they're down low.
800?
Close, yeah.
Okay, $750. I mean, there's a fucking way of doing it.
Come on, just tell us.
$750.
I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Now, I just think, and this is you and your family, right? How much coke could they be getting every fucking week? And even if it was stepped on, you're still getting fucking high on coke.
Yeah, like enough that you'd actually want to share it with friends.
Well, no, I never do.
Oh, really?
I like to lock myself into a fucking closet. Keep it for yourself. I'll tell you this. No matter how bad they are, at least they would have fucking told Vito about the surprise.
Oh, true.
I told Vito about this fucking surprise.
Here's the thing that
Who are
happened.
you yelling at?
You got fucked today. All the work that you did to get Brocco in here.
Yeah.
But we found out that you fucked yourself.
Yeah, that's really the shocking thing. Because I felt terrible when I found out that you'd been working on this. But, Chris, I mean, this was an oversight.
You deserve to lose.
No, this time I don't. I'll admit that plenty of times I do deserve to lose.
Hold on, let's just try to figure out what you said. Shall I admit that there's plenty of times that I deserve to lose?
Shall I admit?
Sure, I'll admit.
Shall I admit?
It's like some sort of Jewish greeting.
You know, my friend, shall I admit? Johnny, enjoying this weather right now? You're a white man. Do you enjoy the autumn?
Yes, I do. It's nice out.
Today was Johnny's favorite day, Columbus Day.
Yes.
And the Italians gather and think about all the great things that Italy has brought to the United States.
Where they celebrate your people and their contribution.
Sopranos.
Sure.
We know who was... But one of the things that I admit that every year the Columbus Day people would keep the Sopranos out of Columbus Day. Back when the show was hot. And I really do admit that. Let's see if... Do you know who it is, Chris? We'll try to guess.
I'm fine.
Who was the Italian of the year? I'm going to say Frankie Avalon was asked to come back in. Yeah.
I think it's Giuliani again.
Has Giuliani ever got to be that guy? He's kind of gotten weird in his old age.
Yeah, he has been pretty strange. I would assume that he was, post 9/11 mayor of the nation's mayor.
Some of our old interns would make sure that we had ice water for the end of the show, and that's why I miss the Molly years. Now, this is why Molly, I get a text the other day that said, you could tell Trump was not your intern because there's no such thing as a dead mic, she put in quotes. And I'm like, she's the only person who ever really paid attention to me.
Yeah.
Chris forgot to tell Vito it was a surprise.
True.
No, I didn't.
I mean, he tried, but it didn't work out for him.
He tried to lie about Vito.
Yeah.
Not lying about Vito. Mary Batali seems to be the big name at the this year.
Mary Batali.
Mario Batali.
Now, you related to Mario?
Here's what would be fun. What if you would have played 20 questions and kept this going and made some fun rather than, how can I stamp this down as quickly as I can?
Does he wear orange Crocs? That would have been my first question.
Yes, that could have been a fun thing
we would
that.
have had so much fun
Rather than Mary Batali seems to be the person.
Oh, Mary Batali.
Hi, Mary.
Shlilo.
I'm waiting till it's Mary Batali.
He is so good with the pasta, Mary is. Mary, why you bugging is the name of his new restaurant. This should have been the day that we all celebrated Chris and his ability to book Brocco in here. Hey, the picture of you is out on Twitter, your Twitter?
Yes, I have tweeted it, so maybe Bennington Show can retweet.
Normally, if there's something I want the Bennington Show to tweet, it goes to another account. So I don't want to ever be the person who tweets, but I can't. What is it, your phone? Whose phone was that?
That's mine.
Look at the Bennington on there.
Well, that's just from an unsteady hand, I think.
Oh.
Maybe. Or maybe it's the glow of the Bennington.
But even the picture itself looks... But you guys look like brother and sister, I hate to say
You have the same hair. What's with the hair? He had bangs.
Now looking at it, it might be embarrassing how much I brag about his hair. I don't know what it is about his hair, but it's beautiful to me.
Seriously,
look at the expression on my face. I actually look like a little kid. I'm just like
well, first of all, he is leaning over, and he's still 1.5 feet taller.
He's leaning over, and I am wearing, I would say, a good 4 or 5 inch platform shoe.
But so is he. So he looks 7'1". So, Johnny, what can we do for you today? You know, we're going to announce Thanksgiving fairly soon. That's very exciting.
That is exciting. I can't wait for our little Thanksgiving get-together.
It is the best. It really is.
I would like to mention my favorite highlight of the last night's debate.
Oh, great.
One Mr. Ken Bone.
Ken,
the poor fella. He's the greatest. He's all over the news today.
Ken Bone is the big celebrity undecided. He was one of the. You'll recognize him. He had the very fun sweater.
Oh yeah.
But I believe it was Patton Oswalt. I can't. This morning or maybe last night was tweeting to him. It was like, great question, you know, very great job with it. Because he had wrote back, you know, both of them made good points, but I'm still undecided. And he's like, listen, Ken Bone, I've just followed you. If there's anything I can do to convince you to vote for Hillary, like DM me. I would love to have a conversation. Like Patton wants to talk him out of voting for Trump.
That's how few undecideds are left in this country.
Now people are they're buddying up. It's the buddy system where you have to grab an undecided person and be like, what do I need to do to convince you to come to my side?
Most elections you are like, hey, I like the Republicans' tax plans, but some of their social things are really, nervous to me. And you're like, yeah, I know, buddy. That's a tough decision to make. There's no decision to make this time.
No.
You either like Trump or you don't like Trump. That's it.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with Hillary, elections, God, the devil, heaven and hell. All that stuff is out the door.
Look, you may strongly disagree. If you are a Trump supporter, you might really disagree with Hillary supporters, and vice versa. You might think that person is insane. But nobody is crazier than the undecided. I think that we need to band together and just say, who are you people? What do you need? What is required of you?
If I'm elected, the undecideds will go to jail. When he said, you will be in jail, I will hire a special prosecutor. And the fact that that's not the number one story today, because this has never been said in an American election.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, the thing is, in America, you're allowed to disagree without being taken to jail.
Yes.
The fact that Trump said that and the news doesn't even react to it is amazing where we are today.
That just goes to show you the amount of crazy things that are said last night that nobody even focuses on that. Nobody goes, you mean like a dictator? Like we're in the fucking Congo? What are you talking about?
By the way, do you think anyone in history without their own show has been on TV as much as Holly Jackson has in the past year and a half? Because she follows Trump everywhere. And she's on TV constantly.
She lives in public.
And yet she has to be on the road. She doesn't get to have a New York apartment and go in and do her 2-hour show every day.
Right.
She's like, well, today I'm in Albuquerque. I don't know where I'm going to get food or sleep tonight, but we're here. Mary Batali is the next one. What are you looking for, Chris? What are you trying to hit?
Oh, this is the booing lady that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, well, we've kind of moved on.
Got it.
From that, but we'll try it. Just don't get rid of it. We'll try it. I just want to make sure Johnny's got everything he needs today.
I think so. That picture of you and Bracco is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, it really is nice.
The pure joy in my face. Like,
and if you had a beard, you would be his brother.
I think he is my beard. Get it?
Oh, good one.
I was outside and Bracco said to me, he actually said, he's so, nice of me. He says, Mr. Bennington, could I have your daughter's hand? And I go, could you hold that? Because I got to go down and take a piss.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. He's gone now. He wanted something, but I did have to take a thick, frosty piss.
Frosty?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I'm a little concerned. I meant to say frothy, and I called it frosty. Why? Vito ruined everything today. Who's in on that thing with NBC? What's the other company? Somebody that did the polling with NBC.
Oh, it was a Wall Street Journal.
I just don't believe those numbers. Up 11% nationally, not even in one state. That's an insane number.
Yeah, that's really
Oh,
good.
they say that's the first poll since the video. Oh, okay. People get over that. So he said he wanted to grab some pussy.
Yeah.
What was the Bucks guy, Winston? Didn't he get on a lunch table and do something that sounded like grab the pussy? It was supposed to be a meme a couple years ago.
Fuck her in the pussy.
And he was suspended for 1/2 of the game. Yeah. But I remember hearing that. I'm like, what an insane thing to say. Apparently this was going around.
Yeah, this was like people were yelling it at like news, like man on the street kind of stories.
They drop in, fuck her right in the pussy.
So, grab her pussy. Not as Rudy Giuliani said, finger it.
Yeah, not as bad.
Or finger bang.
FB, I call it.
There was jizz all over her dress.
What?
9/11. The high five selfie is out there too. I don't know whether you've ever done one. Is it a self high five?
This is a self high five while you're doing the selfie. So somebody had posted this picture, and it just skyrocketed for whatever reason, went up like front page of
Rocco
Reddit.
style.
So this guy was like, I succeeded. I'm giving myself self high five while taking a selfie, which means the phone is midair as the picture is being taken, and hopefully you can then grab the phone before you smash it on the ground.
Vito, here's what I want you to do. I want you to do the first self high five Snapchat. That'll be your thing.
Perfect.
Ruin it for Gail. Quickly as you can. All right, play the booing lady now. And see if this woman isn't ripping off Gail's boo lady.
My wife, my daughters, my mom, my sister, and all women deserve better. All Americans deserve better.
Bow down to her if you
Our
will.
campaign will move forward. And will continue to be based on the principles of the Republican Party. The need for conservative leadership and the requirement that all people are treated with respect and dignity. My hope is that
Boo!
We deserve a candidate.
Booing
cannot be done alone. You need a group to boo.
A single boo is just so funny. I don't know what it is, but I love a lone booer, and this woman is the epitome.
She doesn't
of the
drop it.
Perfect lone booer. Just a crowd full of people and one lonely boo. Boo.
All right, thanks, Johnny.
Later, Benningtons.
See you soon, my man. Peace. Hard Rock Johnny. We've got an unmask coming up with my buddy of many years, Tom Rhodes. Should be a lot of fun. Go over to the ibank.com, theibank.com for tickets. Here's Aaron. Aaron, what's up?
Ron, I'm not a Donald Trump supporter, but what I do have a problem with is saying something negative about Trump and then not immediately following it up with a negative thing about Hillary, because they're both giant pieces of shit. And, I mean, here's the deal. The thing with saying that she's going to go to prison, I mean, the whole lead up to it, what you just said was out of context. He's not saying she's going to go to prison for disagreeing with him. The whole lead up to him saying that was describing what he thought to be punishable crime.
Just so you know, and bring it back up, Chris. Let the man talk. She was in front of Congress. It wasn't like this thing has just been found out. So you have to admit that she went through the legal thing for that. It's already happened and listen to this, dude, in front of a Republican Congress. The FBI looked at the case. This isn't shit that all of us don't already know. She is not going to jail.
Significant part, exactly. She's not going to jail, and that is a significant problem for a large part of the country.
But she's also, guess what? Here's another thing. Here's another thing. And please, Chris, you're fucking driving me nuts. He's also not building a wall. These things he's saying aren't fucking happening. That's the fucking thing.
But that's what I'm saying. A lot of the stuff, I'm not trying to defend Trump any more than I'm trying to defend Hillary. They're both pieces of shit. But what I'm not a fan of is taking things they say out of context. I mean,
it is not taken out of context at all.
It is. He's not trying to be.
Look, I want you to understand something, right? Because from a Carney point of view, he's never going, if he's elected, he's never getting a special prosecutor. He's never going to do that. By saying that, it's something else. That's what you need to wake up to. What he says.
I'm not. I don't need to wake up to anything. I'm not under the delusion that Donald Trump is going to be any better of a president than a Clinton. But I just what you said.
What I said is not taken out of context.
Wants to imprison. What you said is that he wants to imprison somebody for disagreeing with him.
No, I never said that at all. What I said is never in the fucking history have we ever said the other person will go to prison. There would be no other reason. She's already went in front of fucking Congress, a Republican Congress, and they did not indict her. And he's never.
Under his administration, she would have been in prison.
Dude, if you want to fucking do this, we got to do it one at a time. All right? You're fucking saying the same thing over, but I want you to know he's never getting a prosecutor. He's saying that to fire up people like yourself who think the things have been taken out of context. All right?
No,
they're not.
I don't care. I honestly, it bothers me the fact that we have these two pieces of shit.
We got that.
And nobody's talking about a third party. And nobody is talking about a third party.
Because look at the fucking third party guy. He's a fucking whack job.
Yes, he's not going to win. But we can both, I don't know, maybe you can't. We can both agree that the Libertarian Party, as far as being socially liberal and fiscally conservative, is the direction that this country should be going. So
first of all, we can't agree on that because they've never run somebody that's impressive enough. This is a terrible campaign this guy is running.
You're looking so short term, Ron.
Short term of a guy who doesn't even he can't even discuss foreign policy. He doesn't. I mean, how short term is that?
Yeah, I would have liked to hear your opinion on Aleppo 3 weeks ago. Before
I'm not running for fucking president, you idiot.
Good. Okay, that was a little angry, but good.
But seriously, that doesn't even make sense. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people in this world who probably couldn't talk to it and talk about that thing, and I would not vote for them for president. You're right,
okay, exactly.
absolutely.
Yeah, but here's the deal. All I'm saying is that even if we give more votes to the Libertarian candidate, the Libertarian Party gets more power, more recognition.
They have to earn that. I am not going to give it to them for running this fucking guy. And I'm going to tell you something else.
Look, maybe the candidate hasn't earned it.
Before you try, listen for a second. I'm going to tell you how to get mine rather than alienate me. Before you try to win on a national level, let me see this party win on a local level. Show me somewhere that you can run an impressive fucking campaign anywhere. But the guy that you got out there is not able to pull it off. And the whole thing is everything is shit. So let's give it to the libertarians. Show me something. I don't fucking understand who's going to pay for the cops and the roads and the fucking social programs that are needed. Are we never going to be involved in foreign policy anymore? So show me how that works for us. That's what I would like the libertarians to do. But not just fucking, a friend of mine brought up, yeah, but at least they'll fight these drug things. Okay, I get it. That's not number one on anybody's list.
It's also
legalizing drugs is never going to be number one. That can come along later.
And it's also dangerous to do a one issue candidate. That's a dangerous game to play. Maybe you do have to make some concessions when, it sucks to have two options. And I agree. I absolutely agree that, there are really low approval ratings on both sides for both of these candidates.
We've had two candidates this year that could have run as a third-party candidate. Bernie and Donald Trump. They each went in to hijack one of the two parties rather than run as a third party. Donald Trump might have been an amazing third-party guy, but he hasn't shown us that he plans on running this deal any differently than the other two parties. The fact that he picked Pence lets you know that he's not much of an independent thinker. The same thing about Bernie. He ran through the Democratic Party. He fucking bled Hillary out all summer, but he wouldn't do it as a third party. We might be going crazy for him as a third party candidate right now, but he wasn't willing to pull it off. And he already leapt out of the Democratic Party. You know what I mean? He's already gone from it.
Yeah. After
coming in and fucking up the Democrats' summer. The reason, he bled her out all summer. One of the real reasons that she doesn't look like a closer right now with Trump is because she had to focus on Bernie for so long.
Do you think he really did that level of damage, though, to her campaign?
Just in the amount of money and time that he cost her campaign. It was fucking phenomenal what he pulled off. If Donald Trump didn't run this year, we'd still be talking about, oh my God, can you believe Bernie came so close? The fact that we had Bernie and Trump in the same year is amazing. But as far as that independent party, no, I'm not going to fucking just give them shit. And I still don't understand how this thing is supposed to run. They've never actually had anybody who's, run any of these things, as far as I know, even one small town.
Yeah. I mean, I despise the idea of the two-party system, but their showing this time around was very poor.
And that thing of you wouldn't have been able to answer that the 3 weeks ago, whatever that was, Abu Dhabi or whatever. You were correct, and Trump could answer that question, and so could Hillary.
Right. It was not knowing. He had no idea what Aleppo was. He did not know where it was. He didn't even it wasn't like registering to him at all. And you're right. Trump has prepared. Hillary has prepared. You might dislike both of them, but they were both ready to have conversations about Syria. And you could disagree with them very strongly on how they want that to be handled.
I thought Trump was very prepared.
Yeah.
Last night. I thought he was ready to speak out on a bunch of different stuff. But this fucking guy calling and act like you took it out of context, that's bullshit. It is a fucking unique thing to say, I'll have my opponent put in jail. That's never happened in the history of American politics. And by the way, it's not being anti-Trump to say that. Everybody who was watching just went, what the fuck did I just say? It would have been just as crazy if she would have said it to him.
Yeah.
It would just as crazy if she said, if elected, I'm coming after you for some of your business dealings. I'm going to make sure the IRS stays on you like they've never had before. That would have been unbelievable.
Right. And that pop from the audience was people who were already decidedly Trump supporters and maybe even on his own staff. This was not necessarily the undecided voter's voice.
Trump is an amazing fucking marketer. He's also a guy who shows when pushed, double down.
Yeah.
I mean, he started the night like a trapped rat. He was fucking bringing out old Bill Clinton fucking girlfriends from the 80s and somebody that I guess Hillary had run a case about when she was
right.
I mean, in that case, every lawyer in America would be like, well, the person deserved a defense who was accused.
Yeah.
We can't get mad at the defense lawyer for defending someone, because if someone is accused of the worst crimes.
I thought bringing that woman out was kind of a misstep, because it kind of diluted the message that he was trying to. Now, I'm not saying I agree with his, way of doing it, but I thought that was diluting it because that's saying, well, what you have a problem with is the idea of a defense of any kind.
I can't even tell you anyone in the news paid attention to that thing that happened. They all just went, "This is weird."
Yeah, it was a very strange thing. It did not. I'm wondering what the Trump campaign, what his staff had anticipated the reaction from the press had been.
No one in his campaign wanted him to do that.
Really?
No one. And the Republican Party didn't want him to do that.
Yeah, I know that they were in the dark about.
Nobody thought that this was a good idea. And that's what I said. Donald Trump is not in any debates in real life. Donald Trump says we're doing this thing. This is what's happening. He might ask people their opinions, but he's certainly not going to debate them. And that's why I don't understand why we have a debate as a way of fucking showcasing whether these people are ready to be president.
I mean, if you remember, people felt Mitt Romney did very well in debates.
He killed the first debate. He destroyed Obama in the first debate.
It's something that's like a temporary win. For either side, you can win in that moment, but I don't know how many people go to the polls and go, how did they do on that 1 or 2 debates that I watched? I think that they bring it into the whole picture, and it might have something to do with the impression that they received of that person or their personality. I think so many undecided voters go on personality in a way that they're not thinking about policy or they're not so focused on politics. It would be the same. You would have to imagine that we live in a world where, we go back and forth between Republican and Democrat every 4 years and then have that swing that the amount of people who voted Bush in his second term, there is overlap there on the landslide Obama win in the next year. So, there is the people who obviously are swayed, and you have to think it has more to do with personality or current temperature.
Yeah. I mean, personality is a big part of who you want your so-called leader to be. But there's also, like you said, this is the Republicans' time to win. We just had 8 years of Democrats. That's why you had 17 people running as a Republican, because everyone thought, once I get through this, the chances are going to be pretty good to run against whoever the Democrats put out there. Trump does not pick up that normal Republican background because he's not a normal Republican. He's something completely different. Now, would I like to have a strong third party? Obviously, we could use it. But there's also got to be a part of you that it would admit that even a third party is going to run into the same problem of the same people running it over and over and over. And I'm just not ready to say the third party idea is libertarians, because I don't think they've proven their case yet. And I've had some brilliant friends that are libertarians, and all of them would admit up to this point, it's all just theory, because we haven't seen it. We haven't seen what happens when these ideas go into effect.
And that's, that's always a strong position to be in when you are the untested party, or you're the untested,
idea. It's an untested idea. But take a look at this. We just had Florida and South Carolina and Georgia all just got damaged by the storm. Immediately, people were like, well, what is the government going to do about that? Would that still exist in a libertarian world if there's a bomb dropped on one of our bases? Do we not go back? Maybe it does make sense not to have bases around the world. But at some point, you have to get those ideas out. It can't be the same thing always. Do you know how many people are in jail for weed and mescaline? You just can't run on that all the time. And this fucking guy comes off, like I said, an early retired guy in Florida. He looks like some guy who he inherited his dad's business. He then sold it for $5.5 million. He's moved down to Florida and he's spending $2 million in the first year and a half. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, I'm going to fucking party through some of this guy's inheritance with him. He gives off the idea of, not a bad dude, but not an overly smart dude. And everyone knows it. He should be gigantic this year as a libertarian.
He barely beat McAfee.
But I really don't get what people see out of the debates or why they work or not. I'm going to tell you something else too, because Hillary brought up, my husband was the president during the 90s. And look how good the economy is. I'm zero convinced that the president has any effect at all on the economy. It's almost saying the president has an effect on what the weather is going to be like over their 4 years. I don't know if they have anything to do with it. I don't know whether they can be blamed or not blamed.
Yeah. Particularly if you're talking about a president who, in Trump's case, will kind of be an outsider and not necessarily moving within the same, having the same opinions as everybody in his party. I mean, he's made it very clear, if you listen to him speak, there's a lot of things that do not coincide with, let's say, like the Republican message.
Hey, Ron in Missouri.
Hey, Ron, $1 million.
Thanks, man.
I got a call this morning from my best friend, attorney friend, who informed me that Hillary was appointed counsel for that young lady.
I thought she was appointed counsel for the guy who beat the young lady.
Yeah, that's what I mean, for the guy who,
right.
Yeah, the client. Yeah, she was appointed.
But I mean, like, we all hate lawyers until we need one. You know,
exactly.
And then you want that lawyer to defend you no matter what they have to do within the law. You want it.
Yeah. And just as I was saying of, it's not that type of job isn't for everyone. You would not want, somebody who doesn't know about foreign policy to run for president, yourself included. Right? So that takes a special personality who can say, I may know the truth about this person, but I'm going to do everything I can to be sure that this person has a good defense. That's not for everybody either. I mean, some people morally could not do that.
Yeah, but, you have to also admit that there's no such thing as pure justice. So the fact that you are defending that person, even if they're found guilty and you get them at 6 years rather than 120 years, you know what I mean? So to say, the truth about what they did, I mean, you can look at any law and easily try to defend the fact of whether that law should exist or not. It's never as easy as black and white, but for some reason, we want the defense attorney to say, Your Honor, I've looked at the case and my client couldn't be more guilty. I want you, instead of me trying to defend them, I want you to put this man away. If not, kill him. We're nuts that way.
We actually need to break one more time for the end of the show.
Bennington. Hey, it's the Bennington Show on a Monday. Come to our next Unmasked. My old buddy from Florida. Now, I have given him to the world. He's the world's most traveled comedian. He has done comedy in, are you ready for this?
Okay.
8 different continents.
What?
Now,
How?
a little thing I like to call Atlantis, my friend. Somewhere below the ocean. Somewhere across the sea he may be.
Chris has excitement about the prospect of Atlantis comedy.
Well, I set him up for the song to start playing. Go to theinterrobang.com to get your, are you ready for this? Free tickets. Free. There's 4 E's in there. Next Unmasked, 6:30 at night, October 18.
October 19th.
19th.
You're just excited.
Tom Rhodes. Well, I have something else booked. The 18th. I am doing so much stuff in October and November that I may end up hanging myself with a belt.
Don't do that.
Well, Chris, you're not keeping the belt off my neck with the way things are going lately.
Plus, Vito's using that belt.
Oh, yeah. Hang himself. Vito, you can use your shoelaces.
I don't think that would work very well with my body weight and everything. I think
Let's not run yourself down. You want to think and grow rich, like Napoleon Hill. Now, Gail, you brought up, felt like everybody was watching. Chris, you said everybody was watching, or maybe you didn't say it at all. Maybe it was all Gail. So, where do you think debate 1 was compared to debate 2 in viewers? Which had more? Are we building towards something?
I feel like 2 had more viewers.
Yeah.
2 had more viewers.
I would imagine that 2 crushed 1.
Now, Chris, how many more viewers? Let's just say percentage-wise.
Percentage-wise, 18% more viewers.
18% more viewers.
18%.
Gail.
I would have said something a little lower, like 5% more, which is still a big bump, but...
This is unbelievable numbers to me. Debate number 2 had 25%.
Whoa.
What?
Less viewers.
What?
Wow. He's tough to do a show with. It always works that way. There's always, that's why they say go out and win the first debate. That's the important one. Because people are like, when they watch it, they're like, I don't like debates that much. There's nothing to like in a debate.
That really surprised, especially, it felt like so many more people were talking about it. And it felt really like it just blew up on social media. And the lead up of the stories from this weekend leading up to that debate on Sunday.
So social media can be misleading because you have everybody on your feed, right? You think that's what everybody's talking about. I'm sure some people look at their feed and go like this. Everybody's talking about Fashion Week because they're following a lot of people who are into Fashion Week. You follow a lot of funny people, and they tend to look for anything to comment on.
Right.
Anything. But most people are like, I haven't thought about the election yet. I really have been busy at work and watching my shows on TV. There are plenty of people who are that way. I mean, half the people in the country already don't vote. Half.
It's really shocking to think.
Yeah.
But is that a number that you would want to change? Like, if people don't exercise their right to do it?
No, I think the dumb people should leave it to everybody else. I think that's a good point. I would like to say it was up to me, only elite people would be able to vote like they used to do before. I would like the voting to be done by elite white males who live in 13 states. Because when we say the Founding Fathers, look at me when I say this, we ain't talking about anybody in Oklahoma. That fucking place shouldn't be voting at all. Arkansas. Shh. OG 13 is going to do this. Portland. Shush. We're telling you what you're getting. You should get to vote as much as Canadians do.
You really do want to make America great again.
Yes,
I mean, you're
do.
really looking back a ways.
When America was at their greatest was at the beginning. And I'm talking powdered wigs, leotards, wooden shoes, and teeth. I'm talking about when the great city of Chester, Pennsylvania, was a watering spot for people that wanted to go into Philadelphia. Stop and get some water for yourself and your horses.
But that means that we have no Amendment 19. I can't vote.
Exactly, but the smart, elite people will vote with you in mind. And maybe that'll be better for everybody.
I don't know. It doesn't sound so great for me. I mean, I'm happy for you. I don't want to take anything away from you.
For me, having women vote is no different than having minorities vote. I wouldn't mind if black men got 3/5 of a vote. Mm-hmm. They deserve it.
I don't think this is going to go over very well. I mean, look, it's going to go over well some places, sure.
I think a lot of this stuff shouldn't even be discussed with outsiders. But, you know, if you're really honest about it, would this place probably run just as good as if we had a king? Probably be more consistent. You get to see somebody going, I've been working on this for 30 years. And finally, we're opening up the new tunnel. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But how is anyone going to think long term when they're going, we elected that guy 6 months ago and nothing's fucking changed? I don't have a job yet. I used to work at Sears. I want to work in a large department store. Where's the president with this? And I'm like, hey, there are some small stores that you would be perfect with.
What kind?
Froyo.
It's not as good as Sears.
You're crazy.
And Roebuck.
I want to work in any place where the people go over and make their own thing. And then I weigh it and tell them how much I'm charging them. And I'll look, there's 6 different kinds of candy on this thing.
Look, I've never been comfortable with that system because I feel like I don't know when is it okay to stop? I don't know if I'm doing too much, if I'm really underselling
I actually
myself.
said to a guy, can I bring a bucket from home that I think is bigger? Now, let me tell you something. I just saw this the other day during an online trivia game that I was playing. In the 1970s, the average cost of a movie to go to the movies was $1.65. $1.65 when Jaws came out. The Godfather. Love Bug. Okay? Great fucking films. Today, the average price of a movie is 10 times that. Now, you feel like America's going in the correct fucking way? Hell no. The movies are more expensive and they've gotten worse.
But don't we make higher salaries now compared to that time?
What do I give a fuck if Tom Cruise gets $20 million or $20,000? Just give me the action that I'm after.
Just want to see Reacher.
I've written a song for them called "Don't Fear the Reacher,"
That's
which people are singing as "Don't See the Reacher."
That's not right that they took your song and they turned it against you.
It's parody. I have to live with it. I live by it and I live with it. Sometimes you eat the bar and sometimes the bar eats you. Welcome to the Bennington Show, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ron Bennington. This is Gail Bennington with me. And I am Ron Bennington. And coming up soon, Unmacked with Mr. Tom Rhodes. And I plan on introducing him as our first Rhodes Scholar that's ever been on the show. 19th of October, 6:30 at night. Might be a great time to come into the city with a little dinner and an Unmacked. Should be a fun time.
I'm going to be there. Front row.
That's a little too close.
Second row?
No. In the front row, I'm putting in all of Tom's accusers from the 1980s.
That's really going to throw him, though.
Yeah.
He looks shaken.
Not stirred. Vito, today's been a disaster for you. You ruined Gail's day. So I think we're just almost at the final story of the day. And I think Vito should get to pick it. And God damn it, pick a good one.
Did you guys see the tight end for the Packers went to Buffalo Wild Wings and he got a little bit of a surprise in his meal?
No.
Now, if you go to Buffalo Wild Wings, what would you not want to see?
I wouldn't want to see a chicken head.
That's what he fucking got.
I don't know whether I ever believed that someone got a deep fried chicken head.
Now, is that what he claimed? Ew, is that real?
It's edible. There's chicken meat on a bone. What's the difference whether it's the back of the head or the back of the thigh?
Oh, come on.
By the way, I've never been to this place before, the Buffalo Wild Wings.
It's pretty good. Like, you have over 30 different choices of sauce flavor.
I don't want that many difference. I want you to have one good sauce. And whether I like it or not, I'll depend on that.
Tommy want Winky.
I am very happy to say, no, I'm more than happy to say, I'm fucking thrilled to say that I got a new diner in my neighborhood that I didn't know about before that has got a turkey club that finally replaces my Midtown Turkey Club.
Really?
Yeah.
That's very exciting.
6 blocks from my house. Or as I like to say, lunching area. And there's also a great French toast there.
This is excellent news.
I was there the other day and I saw an old couple. They're talking to the people at the thing next to me. And they go, and I hear them go like this. We're snowbirds, which I've never heard anyone call themselves. And then they got into such a nice conversation with this younger couple that they moved over and got into a booth with them.
Oh, boy.
I've never seen that take place.
No, spank you. I would be very uncomfortable with that.
I don't even like when somebody that you know comes in and goes like this. Oh, I didn't see you guys. Can I sit at the booth with you? And you're like, but we've already started eating.
The timing of this.
Yeah.
When am I going to sit here and wait for you to finish your meal?
Or do I have to eat in front of you for a while so mine doesn't get old?
And then do you offer some of your food?
No. I would never. I'm not going to give anybody 1/4 of my new Turkey Club favorite. I'm very excited to have a Turkey Club back in my life.
That is really exciting.
Yeah. We got to get ready and wrap this one up today. It's a hard end to our show. Tammy Pescadelli was going to be here today. She had to reschedule.
Yeah, she's coming in.
Is it because Cleveland lost again? Is that
what it is?
I know she's sad about that. I mean, Brady's comes back against you. There's no way you're not going to win.
What do you think those words were?
Brady,
there's no way, number bin. Number gonna bin. Jesus.
Did you say yabba dabba?
He's Chris Stanley. Stanley. GOP divide widens after second debate. We're a house divided.
We cannot stand.
I can't stand us. Maybe Gary Johnson is the way to go. Maybe that obnoxious fucking guy who called in earlier was correct.
And maybe he made a great point. Maybe I should run for president.
Yeah.
I hope it's not too late.
I like guys that when the woman starts to talk, they snap at them instead of... That whole time he was, fairly kind with me.
If you know so much about Aleppo, maybe you should run for president.
Why do they keep showing Billy Bush in front of a Sirius XM sign, no matter where it goes? It's always, it's great when it works out that way, but when it doesn't, I feel like we should be able to sue people.
Now, you remember you told that thing about you watched a sitcom and you could vote yes or no, this is bad. If I had to watch that video, my highest offense would be when he says Bushy. How about a hug for the Bushy? I'm like, ugh.
That was seriously, that was the dude bro-ish of all dude bro things. And by the way, that's how Vito would act if he lost the weight.
Yeah.
That's why I'm thinking he shouldn't lose too much weight and he stays nice.
More cheat days.
Okay. So, wrapping this up, go to the ibang.com, come to the next Unmasked. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. And Gail, you want to make an announcement about when we're going to see people again?
Yes, we'll see you all again in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening.